The ruinization of Gary for me was the wrap-up show and the inflated ego of Babu Nabui, the attention he could get by sitting around telling old stories to the back office staff who joined them on the show. There was a side of Gary that started to come out for me that just was not enjoyable any longer. And then the further information that kept rolling out about the backstabbing and Stuttering John finally talking, and so on and so forth.
But now he has such an elitism about him. Hard to listen to Howard berate him for anything. Like, none of it means anything.
As they got too serious, you saw this arrogant, entitled, unapproachable elitist start to arise.
Quick Joe McGraw and Bubba Boyd.
Bubba Louie. You call him Bubba? You gonna hang a picture of a guy you don't even know his name? It's one thing not to know a Picasso.
Bubba Booey, he's saying.
The Moma Mama. The Mona Lisa. Bubba Booey.
But that's what Quick Joe used to sometimes call him, I thought.
Gary's revelation that he had called someone the N-word and got punched and received 7 stitches.
We didn't hear that. This is something I've never told anybody, and it's something that I'm really embarrassed about. If I could take back anything I've ever said in my life, it's this sentence.
All right, you want me to really go there?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think you do.
Come on.
He's a funny man.
All right, Gary cheats on his wife.
Oh, please.
You don't know that.
I know
You
it.
always say that.
I know you do.
You don't know that.
I'm telling you do, and I'm wise to you, and I know it, but I don't want to bring it up. I think a guy has a right to cheat.
MTV VJ audition.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
This year with the Bootsier making a comeback and the Gautier, anybody ever hear of these? Grace Jones donated her own personal bra made from Has anyone ever had a Carmen Miranda fantasy?
This guy, Royce. Royce is a college senior at Adelphi University, which is barely a college, and Gary graduated from there. Now, Royce, what's this? Your mission is to get Gary to be the commencement speaker?
I'm actually the senior class president.
Yeah.
And why are you wasting everyone's time? Who cares if Baba Booey is the commencement speaker?
Wouldn't you rather have somebody who could tell you something that would help you with your life?
Are you fucking kidding me? You couldn't clean out your own fucking refrigerator? Am I your fucking maid? Could you be more fucking disrespectful?
Gary's father's wake was from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Beth was walking down the steps. She tripped. She fell 6 stairs, fracturing her foot.
If you heard Howard's voice, he's like, I am so sorry, Gary, this was very important for me. We're at the hospital. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. It doesn't look like we're going to make it. I'm so sorry. So this is like a non-story. Like, it just pisses me off.
I mean, I'm really pissed off at Gary. He says a blanket statement. He believes that cunt reporter when she goes, oh, Artie said he'd just lie to you if I didn't jog with him. You think I give a fuck if your monkey ass knows if I jog with the fucking reporter? Thinks you're so funny on that wrap-up. You're not funny. You're not funny. Better tell that phone screener not to let any calls through if I really cared if you came back down and said.
That's the next show.
Wow.
Private jet to the crafts.
Go ahead, quickly. Just
Fine.
It's a machine, you fucking...
He tricked you.
Mac Hine.
If I can
So
get
you're not. So in other words, if it's a bad storm, you won't be able to get in
Right.
because you're not going to stay over in the city. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right.
In other words.
It would have started at 8 o'clock. They pushed off till 8:30. I'm
you're out
very
of your
serious.
fucking mind.
It's fine, but I can't sit there all night.
You didn't
Waiting
sit there
for
all
you.
night. Clearly you can't, so you didn't sit there all night.
Right.
You just
Don't blame me. It's as much your fault for not showing up on time.
Hey guys, before I get to Adrian, Gary, I saw Lucas at Jones Beach. He was fantastic. I mean, you got a tough job ahead of you trying to keep from becoming a full-blown wigger, but I think you're up to it.
You know what? I was unbelievably proud that night, so thank you. I appreciate the nice words.
Hello. Guess who? Real quick. I got 49 pieces of shrimp, white cheese, black and white cookies, lox. Gonna wash it all down with some Evian tequila. More good food. Thank you.
I think it goes a little something like this.
Oh my God,
Nicole,
I'm putting
Nicole.
all of you on mute because I know all you're going to do is comment. So excited to do this show. Welcome everybody to Gary Part 2. Let's just all give a hand to Bon Jovial for doing an amazing opening there. That was absolute brilliance.
Hello.
WNBC golf clap. Bon, beautiful job.
Thank you,
Hey, there we
Shane.
go.
Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you, Shane.
Shane and Greenbacks are
Really appreciate that.
benefactors.
Oh my God, Shane and Ida are like the best on these.
Ida Greenbacks, that's right.
These
Bon,
chats.
where did you get the picture of Gary's dad? Is that from They Call Me Baba Booey?
I googled Gary Dell'Abate's family.
Wow.
Gary's dad's good-looking guy. He was a good-looking guy. Gary became bizarre.
That might have been in the book. Maybe that was in the book.
I could smell the Brian
probably
Trottier and Mike Bossy reeking off him from the Nassau Coliseum.
Can you look at the picture of that John has up there? The Lama Booey Ooey. That's apparently a basketball player that I don't know anything about him though.
Okay, he is the point guard for the Charlotte Hornets. He's part of the famous Ball family with Lonzo
What
Ball
family?
and the Ball family.
The Ball family.
The Ball
You know,
family.
they're just got some balls.
With the crazy basketball dad. And this guy, you don't have to Photoshop him. He is a dead rah-rah ringer for Gary, unlike anybody I've ever seen. No, go Google LaMelo Ball and his Google images. It is insane. If they are not genetically, there has to be lineage. There has
What's
to
this
be.
guy's name?
LaMelo Ball.
He's
What's
swarthy,
his name?
just like Gary.
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball?
LaMelo Ball of the Charlotte Hornets.
LaMelo is the first name.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
Ball is the second name.
Second name, yes.
So
Yes,
his
last
mother
name is Ball.
chose to name him LaMelo Ball, like a melon ball, like
like a
the
melon
melon ball.
He's a melon ball.
Oh my God, that's so stupid. Thank you, Chucky Khan. Thank you
If
so
there
much.
can be a Kunta Kinte, there can be a LaMelo.
Oh,
Exactly.
a melon ball. It's like melon ball. That's horrible.
Yes.
Melon
That's
ball.
a horrible
Yes.
name. But he
Yes,
does
it
look
is,
like
isn't
the.
it? Good thing he plays basketball.
Actually, Jackson and the other freak don't look anything like Gary.
Lucas looks nothing like Gary. No.
So
He's
they
a
were blessed
Mary.
with the- they would-
Judd
they're blessed with the
Apatow in
Sasquatch genes.
Syosset High School.
Yeah. All right, so Bon Jovial actually had something special for us that he wanted to open the show with, correct?
I do, and it's about a guy who we all know and love, and this guy loves having people talk about him. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about John. Yes.
John?
Me?
That's right.
LaMelo
I like
Bowie?
people talking about.
Of course.
Bola Bowie?
Okay.
John, don't get all weird. You're gonna love.
No,
this
no,
guy.
I'm just.
You love, when
You and your rope-a-dope bits, Bon. I'm just waiting for the right hook.
Wait for the hook, right?
Okay, all right. So,
I have no idea what's coming, just so you know. I have no idea.
well, I just wanted to talk about it because everybody's been talking about it, and I thought I'd plug it because I loved it now. John,
I know what he's gonna do.
Yes, John and the Radio Gunk forum chick who everyone loves, who used to be called Horsetooth Beth.
Oh my God, thank you, Pal. Thank you so much.
Kryptonian money.
Go.
She goes by Sarah nowadays.
Yes,
and
a.k.a. Horsetooth Beth.
these two got together to make a podcast, and if you haven't heard about it, the podcast they have made is about Johnny Depp.
It's called The Deafening.
Does that
it's
come as
Wino-
a surprise to anyone?
Yeah, can you plug that, Johnny? It's Wino.
Yeah. Sarah.
I'm gonna
This is.
plug it.
It's called Wino Forever: The Deepening, and
I'm
it's
actually
a
shocked
Johnny.
that people didn't know what Wino Forever was. Like,
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
a
everybody
very
knew that.
famous tattoo alteration. And Monique reminded me, and I knew this over the summer, and it slipped my mind as it approached. Winona Ryder is fucking 50 now.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh my God! Time
Yeah,
flies
she's
when
a
you're shoplifting.
Now,
She and Cindy Lou Who are shoplifting at Target right now. But pick me up some mozzarella sticks, Toots.
It's not shoplifting, it's liberating. You're liberating the products.
Exactly. If people can go into Walgreens and steal lipstick.
Just walk out
God
with it.
damn it, Sin Lu can go in and get Mutzi sticks.
Get me a Samsung watch, please. Since you're there.
Exactly.
Fine, thanks for the plug. I actually was gonna do it at the end, but
I haven't even
but
started the plug yet.
I watched
This is
it.
Oh,
this
you-
is
that was- I
what I
thought that was
love
the
about
plug.
this. This is what ties in perfectly with what I'm about to plug because, I listened to their show and they put out for those who don't know, they put out the third show last week. So and that got a lot of traction. I tweeted a shout out about it. Monique tweeted a shout out. Dennis didn't, but
Dennis did not.
Dennis.
If Dennis isn't included in a show, he doesn't tweet it out.
When we do Donnie Brasco,
He comes
Donnie
in,
Brasco,
he
Dennis.
comes in and does like a snarky little shit remark like, oh, did I miss it? Did I miss it?
I didn't know they were on. I'm sorry.
We're going to have Monique on for Donnie Brasco because she's going to tell us about
Oh my God, I would love to be on for Donnie Brasco.
Can you? Will you come on?
Yes.
Oh, great. That is such good news.
Of course.
She's going to talk us through the neighborhood because she knows the Motion Lounge.
Did I not send you the picture of Sonny Black with his daughter that I was friends with?
I love that. It's my screensaver.
I was listening and I was loving it, and the dynamic between these two is fascinating. Sarah she's kind of I'd say she's sort of shy, she's very well spoken, she's kind of quiet, and she is connected in this podcast with who I call the tidal wave that is John. And it's the dynamic is fascinating. And when I was listening, I thought, I need to put together a package for our listeners just to hear.
Package, that's so cute.
John,
package.
And John, we all know this about John. He has this way about him where he cannot help but interrupt when the show starts. And I love this about you, John. This isn't a slider.
Oh, in the beginning, right?
But like,
it's the right hook,
why
Johnny.
Monique uses the
right hook.
The big mute button, and so John. The third show in, and this young lady, Sarah's trying to intro, and John cannot help himself. Here's an interruption that everyone remembers. Artie.
Look, the thing is so flattering that you said. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
45 minutes, he gets $3,000
John, please, let him finish.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Brilliant. And he's also interrupted here.
And Horses Beth is coming on, so I'm looking forward to having her here. Darling girl.
The Natalie Maines of us.
Oh my God, I can't believe you interrupted her completely.
That was on the first part of Gary part 1. She did not get a chance, and so let's listen to her trying to.
That's why I'm mute now.
Brilliant. And he's right about Natalie Maines. I mean,
she doesn't sound like her.
Listen to her try to get this out.
Okay, hello everybody. This is episode 3 of a podcast called Stop laughing at me. Of a podcast called The Deafening, and my name is Sarah, and I am joined by.
Whoa! He did it again.
What?
What goes first?
What are you talking about?
Wino Forever.
Yeah, Wino Forever, The Deafening podcast. I apologize. Let me start over. My name is Sarah, and I am joined by the impossible arm.
It doesn't stop there because this is not edited. He comes back again just to hit her once more. Check this.
Can I just say before you go on, you're doing phenomenal with that opening patter. I know it's a thankless job. Monique does it on Radio Gunk, and it's she'll usually do like a Rachel Maddow monologue after it. I'm just kidding.
Now, what happens now
Wow.
is, so the show's obviously about Johnny, and it was a great show. It also, a lot of it had Howard clips from when Johnny was a guest on Howard, and just listen. It's so jarring to me to hear John say somebody else's voice other than Mo or Monique. And as I was listening, I thought, wow, he's to get Sarah to stop the clips to talk. John has to say Sarah, and every time it was happening, I thought, wow, it's so different. And I thought, I'll grab a few clips. And then I thought maybe, instead of grabbing just a few times, I'm going to grab all of them when he interrupts her. So check this out.
Bob, let me say, that's part of the show.
I understand that, but
I got to get up at 5:20 in the morning.
Plan.
Give me the Gary.
We should have done a 7 p.m. show. All right, so just check this out.
It is the mother of Drew, and she finally got to meet with her daughter.
Sarah, can you pause it for a second?
Mm-hmm. All right, let's resume here.
Friends, which is very important.
Sarah, that's 5 guests. It's 5 guys. It's crazy.
I know.
It's such a different show. I can't believe.
Okay, let's go here.
Anyway, I sat there
Sarah,
and listened to it.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You ever notice every baby boomer thinks they're unique for being a Beatle maniac?
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp will be on the phone to us.
Sissy, can you pause it?
Yep.
That's not true. That's fucking lying sack of shit.
All right, here we go.
I think it's because I say nice stuff about him. Great movie.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Just say whatever you want. But you
Sarah,
know how.
can you pause for a second?
Brennan, look up at the
Sarah.
All right, let's resume.
You see how polite she is? She keeps going. I love her temperament. She's so sensitive. She hasn't gotten to the point that Monique gets to over the years. She's just new to this, and you know.
I am begging you to fucking move on. I am begging you to fucking move on.
She's still getting there, but she keeps trying.
No, absolutely.
Well, if you
Sarah.
ever talk to anyone.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
All right, let's let John talk for a minute here.
Yeah, who do you want to kill?
I mean, it's just the
Right.
weirdest point because.
You can pause it, Sarah. No, you had a good point. You're about to say.
Oh, it's not. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Sarah, can you pause
Hello, John.
Yeah.
Sarah.
To be you. You're the coolest.
Sarah.
You're the cool.
We're all Jack
Sarah.
the Rippers.
It just, you know.
Sarah. Sarah.
And I gotta say,
Sarah.
a real down-to-earth guy.
Pause.
Formal training or something?
Sarah.
This girl is beautiful.
Sarah, I got it.
Calculated is he? Like, you know,
Sarah.
Get out of here.
Sarah.
Come on, you're on with Johnny Depp. There you go.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go.
All right.
Yeah.
I gotta say, that's weird. Sarah, can you pause for a second?
Ask him if he thinks man's in heaven.
Okay, Sarah.
You know, how can a chick
Sarah.
even approach?
This is not calculated.
Yeah.
Wow. Your quote would be like 20 million.
Sarah.
Yeah, you still got that joint
Sarah.
on the side?
Yeah, so
Sarah.
your own.
Oh my god.
Now, the best part of the whole fucking thing was one of the greatest.
There's
I
more?
gotta say, yeah. Oh, this is the
Oh,
end.
I have a headache. I'm crying.
The cherry was, and I've got this as a drop now because this is absolutely classic John. This is John. Sarah asked John if he's ready, and I'm not kidding you. John has his snout. His nose must be touching the bottom of the cup when he replies to her. The ice, and just listen to this.
Ready? Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, I thought that'd get a bigger laugh, but anyway.
You gotta don't pander for laughs, Bon.
Wow.
I thought.
Wow.
You want to?
Wow.
Wow.
I feel like I'm at the Amber Heard trial and you just cut up a tape and threw it together in the wrong context. And
Look at how you ran that roller coaster and we were going around, and then it's like that small baby bump that just
Don't
goes
tell
right.
me
At
what
the
it
end,
feels
it
like
kind
to
of
be
brings you to the
punched.
station.
Brings you right into the station.
Yeah, it
That's
just kind of
exactly
finishes
right.
it up.
Yes,
My
Fudgicle
John.
wants to know how this turned into an arm roast.
Tiger.
Master. Wait, look at Two Master.
There you go.
The last one.
Tiger Lily wrote, Sarah would make a great elementary school teacher.
Absolutely.
Yes, she would. Yes, she would.
She has that voice. All right, so that was hysterical, and that is classic John. I can't believe you haven't done that with one of our shows because, well, you know what? He's actually gotten better over the years. But with Sarah, you know, it's. Yeah, that's John. I mean, that's what you say.
Can I explain? That's our show. We play the clips. The plan before it is stop me when you want to comment. There's no, and Bon knows that, but there's not. I'm not steamrolling the show. There's the two of us. What are we gonna do? Play the whole interview and not talk?
No, of course not. And that was hysterical. And Bon, thank you for doing that. It made me tear. We're gonna so now half hour into the show, we're gonna get.
Oh, we're gonna start the show now. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a show. So
that's
we're gonna do a
great.
show.
Great.
So yeah. So as you all know from
I'll call you at
last
5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, as you all know from last week's discussion, both my Halloween look at Howard's lobby, and did you all notice that he had to talk about the lobby this year?
Yes.
I guarantee you he heard my friggin' lobby show, because there was no reason for him to go through a whole lobby tirade if not for the fact that I had pictures of it
wow,
that
I didn't
showed
see
on
that.
Sunday.
Oh wow!
He went through a whole thing about it, and then the night before, Xavier and I had done our last things that go gunk in the night, And we talked about doing the Gary show and that it had to be delayed because, of course, Arm sent me 72 clips and we had to parse through them to figure out exactly what was going to make it to this show and what we're going to save for part 3. Because with Gary, he's been there, 35, 40 years? It's, there's a huge library of content. And it was really hard to pick and choose what winds up being on the show. So hopefully what we picked for tonight is good enough for what will probably be a 3-hour show. I mean, you know the way we are. So so we all are aware of what the show contents are, correct? Because, God forbid we preamble about this stuff.
Yeah,
so I think we're ready to go. And we thought the thing that we would start with is somewhere where we did not go on the first show, and that would be Gary's wedding.
Yes.
So Gary married a Sasquatch, as we all know. And this is, and nothing against Mary. I'm sure she's a lovely, lovely woman, and you know what? She stuck with him, God knows why. We are basically celebrating the luckiest man in entertainment history.
Yeah, I'll go on record. I like Mary. I'll go on record. I like Mary.
I know nothing about her.
I love the comment she made to Stuttering John saying, God, John, you got out. I wish we can get out too. So we like Mary.
Yeah, it's just one of those almost like a nightmare scenario where, Gary started as the lowest rung on the totem pole, right? So
yes.
Gary was like an intern, just graduated from Adelphi. He wound up being called Boy Gary, and he is the impetus for everything that happened there on down in the show, where Howard would just, pick on employees and they would take it. And Gary was the gold monkey standard for that. And so it's because of Gary that we had the show that became what it was. The fights with the staff. He festered that ability to be the whipping boy, basically, the whipping post for the show. And he was the sole whipping post for a very long time, because it was really for a long time just him and Jackie and Fred and Robin and maybe 2 or 3 people behind the scenes, and that was it.
Right.
So Gary was that boy. And so kind of reminds me of my old boss, who I fucking can't stand, who started out at our company as the secretary to the owner's father. And the only reason she got her job was because she could speak another language, and she wound up senior VP of the company, making quadruple the amount of money that I did.
Yep.
But you know what? In the boss's mind, she was always the fucking secretary. And that's what Gary is. So it doesn't matter what Gary has done in his lifetime, what Gary has said to people, who Gary is. He is still the intern that started with Howard. And
he was a pubic hair away from working for Imus.
He was
at NBC, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Dennis, didn't he originally start with Imus?
Yes.
And they passed him on to Howard because I don't know if he was...
He just wasn't good enough. Actually, he really wasn't good enough. So he ended up getting passed on to Howard. And they have the whole... God, it's so long ago, but when they first introduced him, I remember the first thing that Blobbin said about him was he's so swarthy. That always sticks out. She called him swarthy.
Yes, perfect word. Swarthy.
But yeah, he was.
Yes, he was a hairy monkey, like the one that that's one that bit that frigging kid, that 7-year-old, over the weekend. that's actually what it was good for.
That monkey's teeth were actually smaller.
Yes, but, you're right.
He just struck as just being that person you could. He didn't seem very competent. He was just a very good talking point. He was something to make fun of. I mean, literally, that's all he really. You're right. That's all he was.
How could you not? And so here he is growing in the ranks in the hierarchy of a show where it's the only, we talk about this all the time. It's the only job he's ever had. Mm-hmm. So his way of doing things is the only way he's ever known. And he only knows it because he knows it through Howard. So, you always go back to the Pelican Brief and how Howard was so disgusted about how the operation was run and how people weren't doing things the way they were supposed to be doing. But it's because they all never had any other jobs. Nobody ever came in there other than maybe Tim to say, no, guys, you're doing this all wrong. This is the way you have to talk to people. This is the way you have to do things. This is the way you have to blah, 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 blah.
If you think about the entire staff were interns at one time.
Yes.
And then they got hired because they literally couldn't go anywhere else, and they just got hired because they were just strange or weird, and they weren't women. And that is exactly the way it works. And honestly, you're right, though. Tim Sabian was probably the only human that was hired by him that was not an intern, and actually somebody that was respectable in the business. The rest of them are like cast-offs.
Well, I thought Billy West came from Boston.
Yeah, but Billy West wasn't. Billy West, I see as being like a part-time temporary guy, freelancer.
Right, but he came in on talent. He was one guy.
Of course, but he needed the talent.
Unlike the rest of them.
Yeah.
Yes,
you're right. You're right, Kylo.
Jason Kaplan was. He was an intern. Jason Kaplan was an intern.
Yes, Jason was an intern. All of them.
Yes, he was.
And then the other ones basically won their jobs.
Scott DePace worked for the Howard TV, so that's different.
Scott DePace worked
for... qualified person.
No, Scott DePace worked for K-Rock, and he was taken on by Howard. And Scott worked for Howard for as long as Howard was on air.
Ganji and Goodstein and Richie Wilson.
No, but a lot of them were TV guys, and they came from TV.
But they studied. They would have had qualification. Doug and Scott would have had qualifications.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm talking about the main grouping of people that you hear about all the time. They were all, some won their jobs. Some, like Ronnie, wrote to Howard in crayon, basically said, I would really like to work for you and drive for you. I mean, and he loves his people to also be whackpackers. And so Gary is the king whackpacker.
Yeah,
Gary is he's the gold monkey standard for everything that came after him. So pardon us about the fact that during part 1 of the Gary show, we kind of thought that, what we were doing during that show wasn't really kind of like a chronological thing, what we're trying to do on the next 2 shows. We were just like throwing shit out there that we thought was like funny and things about Gary that we thought were kind of amusing. So we didn't have the thought of doing it as a chronological show, which is what it should have been. We probably should have started with things from like the 80s and when he first started there and all that stuff.
I don't know.
That's
it was
so
just
boring.
It was just fun to do it the way we did it. And
you want to
documentary at that point.
Yeah,
we want to get the priorities
on the wall that we thought was fun. So now, when John comes back with 757 clips, we kind of went through them and we segmented it into 2 shows. So we're going to start with Gary's wedding, and I have not looked at any of the clips. I have no idea what's coming.
Monique loves not knowing.
Oh, I love not knowing. I really do. It's so funny because I do those stupid shows with Xavier, and he will insist on having like 45 minutes on air before we go on so that I know exactly what's coming and exactly what he's talking about and stuff like that.
Sounds
it takes
professional.
forever to prepare for those shows.
Sounds utterly professional.
Yeah, well,
that's terrible.
That's what he does for a living, so I guess that's why.
That doesn't sound like fun.
So, these shows are really off the cuff, and that's what we do. So, how do we want to set this up, Mr.
Well,
Jovial?
this is 1992, and we can just play because I've put in some generic music, and this is just the footage, and it's just bizarre. You've got, there's a part with Fred dancing, which is mind-blowing, and Ronnie. So we can just play it and talk over it.
Oh my God.
Public domain.
Look at Ronnie. Oh my God.
Gary.
John's gonna play. Public domain.
Who the hell's that?
Who is that? Who is that?
That's Jack. Dominic and Jackie had a kid.
Looks like Dominic.
Jackie.
Maybe it is
That's
Dominic.
Jackie and Nancy.
Oh, okay, yeah, this is the ponytail.
Oh, I see the ponytail, yeah. God, Richardson. Oh, he looks like a
It's Gary Oldman. Colin Quinn's so right. Gary
oh my
Oldman.
God. That looks like somebody married a listener.
What year was this?
Gary Oldman.
92.
Look at Gary, so disgusting.
That's Gary's friend Frank on the right. That massive Mets mullet.
Animal. Look Look at Mary. She's gigantic.
Domain.
Yeah.
There's Frank.
Well, Frank looks like he's a bouncer at a club.
Frank looks like, what's the
He's
name
got a
of
Mets
that?
mullet.
What's the name of that show that used to be on that was kind of like from the guys that also did like all that Will Ferrell shit? The guy who was like a baseball player.
Oh, yeah. Eastbound and Down. Yeah, that's so good. Look at cool guy. Look at D. Snyder Howard.
Look at
Gary. Stop! Pause that.
Monkey dance.
Beanie Mac. See Beanie Mac in the background, in the background dancing.
The one token guy invited.
Yeah, just go back. He's got a token. That's got to be Beanie Mac on the cover.
Besides Robin.
No, and he's with someone. That's good.
Wow.
They are a couple. All right, hold on. Wow, this music is so gay.
Public domain.
It is.
Look, who's that, Mamet?
No.
Look at Scott.
Look at Scott.
Look at this. Look at
baby
this.
hands up.
Wait, so he didn't have a band? He had Scott?
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Oh, you cheap bastard.
Oh, it gets
That's
worse.
hands up.
Wait
Oh
for
my
the
God,
dance.
it is.
Yeah, look at Ronnie.
Is that Ronnie?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow, he looks like a
Eugene
look at how gay
Ronnie.
Ronnie looks. Classic.
So it's Ronnie, John, and Scott.
Oh, now they got all of them on. Look at Jackie.
Oh.
And that fucking.
Oh, here it is. The
Robin.
greatest clip ever.
Oh, you're so cool, Robin.
Look at this. They're mounting her.
She's like
Robin's,
a sausage casing.
she's got Cosby Jello pudding arms.
Look at Ronnie.
Look at Ronnie with that full Eugene haircut.
Full Eugene mullet.
Smacking
Look at
mullet.
this.
This is '92. The
Look
mullet,
at
the
Fred.
grunge.
Look at this. Look at that.
Oh, God. That's
He
terrifying.
dances as good as he sings.
Stuttering Gary doing his one
It's a
fucking
King
joke.
Norris.
It's normal faces.
Look at him with his slick back hair, all Gordon Gecko.
Oh,
There you
Howard,
go.
gay
There you
dancing. What a surprise.
Oh,
What are you
super.
up to this time?
Oh,
Look
here
at
we
cool
go.
guys. Zoss Rapin's got to sidle up to Howard.
Look
You
at that.
blew it, John. I was going to quiz them.
That's Zoss Rapin.
Oh, of course
You
that's
blew
us.
we
it.
know
Is
that.
it? All
We
right.
don't know Zoss Rapin.
How long have we
Look
been doing
at that.
this?
I had to put it in.
There's Dominic, Barbara with the
Yeah.
glasses.
Look at Howard.
Oh, the
He used to
anorexic's
eat
got
back
to.
then. Yeah.
He's going to the bathroom to throw up.
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the early nose, early chin,
Yeah.
early neck.
Where's Ralph? I can't understand.
the
I
early
can't
wig.
see Ralph.
He may not have been invited, Bon.
Yeah, Ralph
Oh.
was like
It's early
a
in the-
low-level
Oh,
player.
maybe
Ralph
It was
you're right,
early in the
yeah.
Ralph stint.
Yeah.
Maybe
He was
you're
only
right,
shaving
yeah.
his belly.
But how did Ross get in there in 1992?
Zoss Rapin? Oh, it's
How
because
did
he
he-
was with the music.
He
right?
I'll tell you
He
what
was
his
with
origin is.
AMR or something? Or
Yeah.
what was he with?
He introduced Dice. He was managing Dice before that. He introduced Dice Clay to the show,
Oh, shit.
and that
Brilliant.
I was going after that audio recently, and I'd stopped. But yeah, that was his initial intro to the show.
But I
was
thought he worked for a record company.
He did after that.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And Dice
This
had
is
Dice's album was a record label. Was on a
Right.
record label.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
always known Gary. That's exactly right. That's always been the connection, is with Gary.
Jesus.
That's
so this
true.
wedding, just so you guys know, I think was in Long Island,
Mm-hmm. Looks it.
right?
Gotta be.
Just where Gary
Gotta be.
grew up. It has to be. Yeah. I'd like
Well,
to know
Mary's
the
from
information.
I think it was in Syosset.
So Suffolk County?
Yeah, Nassau County.
Oh, okay.
They're all
Break
from
up.
Nassau.
Is this it?
That's the end.
That's the end.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
Wasn't that
I like
great?
I like the early '90 wigs he had on. The like the Louis XIV wig he had there. The ridiculous
bouffant.
poodle
Yeah.
font wig.
Horrible. Everything about that wedding. I can't believe that was on. Like, where did we get that video from? Where did that originally come from? Do you know?
I had it in my hard drive. I'd sent it to you in full. I didn't
Jesus.
clip it. I just sent you the whole thing. I figured
Oh my
you'd
God.
Stuttering Monique did a very underrated podcast with Stuttering John where they went over Stuttering John's wedding
Oh, Stuttering
in
John's
1997,
wedding.
and there's a
I
lot
love
in
that.
there.
There is a lot in there. You know, but that was on Stuttering John's show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yes.
wasn't on my show. We should have done a little parse of that one because
We should
that
ask
was-
him if we could do it here.
Well, it's done. I mean, so it doesn't even matter. And
bring
he
in
gave
Fudgesicle.
the critical comment on it.
So you could fap to him.
Hey, Bon, do we have that show on up? Yes, that's one of the Stuttering John shows, right?
If we just donate some money, he'll let us do it.
Everyone's got a cup out, right?
No,
It's
seriously,
crazy.
Bon, he would let me put that show on our site. I would like to have that show on our site.
I agree. Cross it over, absolutely. It was very underrated.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him right now.
So, John, we've got, you want to explain Gary Chilled by Cranky Dennis Miller.
Yeah. Dennis Miller, who has not done the show since this very date, comes on the show. He's hosting the ESPYs for ESPN's early sports award show, and he had just gotten fired from his syndicated, that whole talk show period with Arsenio and the talk show wars and everything. And so he comes on to bash Leno pretty much and promote that he's hosting the ESPYs. And Dennis Miller is one of the biggest. I have not heard one good story about him. He is a absolute prick and a half. He's constantly in sarcasm mode, unapproachable. He's always he's reductive and he's off-putting. And so Gary tries to, small talk him in the green, and Dennis isn't having it. And he gives him I think he calls him from FAO Schwartz. And he's dick to him there too. Dennis is at FAO Schwartz buying toys for Holden or Marlin, so they take it on the air. And Howard gets his feedback from Gary. And as Dennis comes in the studio, he lets Dennis know Gary hates him.
So Gary comes in during the commercials and says, "Boy, Dennis Miller's got some attitude." I go, well, what happened? Gary's pissed off that Dennis Miller doesn't recognize him.
Oh, dear.
And I go, "Gary, you're the one with the attitude." I said, "What? I mean, Dennis is pretty famous." He goes, "Dennis Miller calls up. I'm over in FAO Schwartz, and I'm looking for a Gary Dell'Abate." So Gary's positive that Dennis does remember him and just was trying to put him down. Gary, you're out of your mind.
I think he's gotten incredibly sensitive since he got married.
I'd be upset if Dennis recognized Gary. He goes, "Oh, he's full of attitude, man." The guy comes in and doesn't even recognize me.
Hey, man.
And I'm like, well, he goes, and he's real aloof, and he's not rapping to Gorilla. And Gorilla went in and said and Dennis Miller's real cold. I'm going, Gorilla?
Get him out of the room.
Way that hi, good morning can be misinterpreted.
You're very hot.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
No, I just want to say I was wrong.
Hey, you know what? I am so not hurt by that.
I've always been a huge fan of Dennis's.
No, but the point is that you can't expect Dennis to remember you. Guys.
No. The slant of the conversation was more with our interns who just didn't feel that. I think that sometimes people think the funny guy on stage is the funny guy in the jock.
Well, they work with me, don't they know? I'm not funny.
Am I ever jocular on stage? I've been doing it for 10 years. Has anybody ever seen me? What am I? The amazing wid?
Isn't that brilliant? Gary.
Oh, am I the amazing wid over here?
So Gary was actually upset that Dennis Miller didn't recognize him?
So, that should have been that was the first insight into the self-importance of Gary.
Yes, Dennis.
In the early 90s, my
Lovely.
God.
Yep,
wow.
92. The show is kind of syndicated.
Yeah.
They're in LA. They're on TV a little bit. They went against Saturday Night Live on the Channel 9 show. So Gary really thinks he's a national name.
He's something, yeah.
Yep.
Wow. God damn. Jesus.
All right, what's up next?
Okay, Johnny. Gary versus Team Elaine.
This is crazy. This is some crazy shit. There's so much in here.
Who
and I hope, and I know it's a long, I don't know if you have everything.
No, it's not that long anymore, John.
No, I know, but I truncated it myself, but there's so much in here. So everybody, old school Stern fans, Dennis, you probably heard this. Elaine Boozler at the Grammys in 1989, the Stern Show had finally done something they went on the road. So they're trying to become syndicated, and they go on the road to cover the 1980. Elaine Boozler is there, and Howard is hard up for guests that they have that Radio Row, and all the 89 Grammy people running around. So Elaine Boozler blows them off, and Howard takes a megaphone and starts heckling her. Elaine Boozler's goons. She has somehow Elaine Boozler's goons. Goonslers.
Can we just discuss
the
fact that Elaine Boozler was popular?
I know.
That's
a little
the
bit.
part that still bothers me.
So her goons come over to Howard's table and apparently this is how I visualize it, shoves the microphone into Howard's schnozola. He gets taken aback. Gary throws his body in front of him and starts wrestling with these goons. Fred, tough guy, fucking Hell's Angel, Freds of Anarchy, pussy boy, sits there, doesn't do a goddamn thing. Jackie does nothing. Apparently, they're literally... Janine Garofalo, literally hiding under the table. Robin's emasculating them after this, and this is like how Gary earns his keep.
Okay, before you do that, David the violinist said, my friend Nosy Lane and asked her once to MC a gala dinner, and she charged $20,000.
What?
In 2016.
Wow, she's got stones.
I don't know what's worse, that or Artie's podcast per month.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is classic sizzle chest.
All right, go for it. Let's hear some.
You know, Elaine Boozler is nuts. She's just a jerk. She's an idiot.
Right next door.
She also heard all this week you're talking about it. Here's my megaphone.
Loud enough.
Oh, no.
I can hear you.
No.
Hey,
Elaine. What's the matter? You don't want to come on my show?
Elaine Boozler.
Just that fucking Howard voice.
Yeah,
with
the mic, with the
the megaphone.
No compression.
I just can't.
Wait, can I just tell you how much I hate about the new shows now? Is the
Yes.
Oh,
man.
Oh,
And that's
is there anything worse than that?
rocket.
Honestly, my asshole puckers when I hear that. I mean,
who's
seriously.
at the door? Who's at the door?
Oh, it's Sesame Street. It's fucking.
It's
the
disgusting.
Muppets.
The fact that he has to have a Bubba knockoff instead of Bubba is mind-blowing to
Well,
me.
he did get Bubba in later to do Bubba and Freud. I mean, absolutely just mocking the poor bastard.
Well, if
who's
you can
living in a
do
trailer.
Alex Jones, you can do Bubba. It's the same
I would
cadence.
kill
it's
to
the
have
same-
Bubba on the show. I would
People
really,
have heard of
you know,
Alex
reach out to him.
Jones, though. you
Yeah.
know?
They've heard of Bubba.
I can't believe we can't get
There's
this.
a lot of parts of the country Bubba is very well known.
Ask
I
Fred.
live in one.
Yeah,
Fair
I would
enough.
like to
Sorry,
have him
I'm
on.
sorry.
All right, I'm
can
sorry.
ask-
Let's go to Elaine Boozler.
Let's go back to
Okay,
Elaine
so-
Boozler. I remember this. Oh my God.
Howard's grabbed that megaphone. I wish we had video, John.
I know there's no video. This
No
is
video.
the only
Saying
way.
they're filming it, though,
The closest thing you can get to video of this would be if the Channel 9 show had gone out there with him. But there's no they are not. There's no
didn't.
e-show yet, so you
This
can't.
would
There's
have
no
been
video
amazing
component.
to see the sound that Gary, the way he talks.
Yeah,
to
this
Butthurt
is
after he
so
gets hit.
crazy.
He's the biggest pussy in the world. Here we go.
What's the matter? You don't want to come on my show?
Elaine Boozler.
It's a horrible show, isn't it, huh? Yeah, you're so funny. What?
Your face.
Who are you? Who are you?
Remember that?
Take a seat.
What in the world is... All right, take it easy.
Talking so right.
Oh.
All right, everybody, calm down.
Hey, easy stuff. You all right? I don't know who he is. No, I'm okay. Sit down, relax. Okay, look at somebody in the face. Right. I hope you got a good lawyer for hitting people. We didn't hit anybody. You hit us first. We didn't hit anybody.
Wow.
Yeah, well, you want to look? You unfunny piece of shit. See you in court. Well, Elaine Boozler's people just beat up Gary. Oh, he hit you, man. I'm sorry. I know he hit me. I'll see him in court.
Sit down.
You're right, Magical.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're hearing the litigious pelican court.
Yeah, always
See you in
litigious.
court. Can we take him to court
Right away.
all through this?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
but meanwhile, he's such a see you next Tuesday to every single person he ever ran into at that time period. Like he was the rejected, uncool kid at the lunch table, you know? So everybody to him was better than him, and so he was gonna just beat the shit out of them.
Is there
he's
any
like
way,
an
Monique-
alcoholic now with his like forgiveness tour that he's been on?
Oh, Jesus. He's so nosy.
Is there any way we can get to the bottom of whatever lawsuit became of that? Is there a way to maybe John knows or Scott or someone?
Did it actually
I don't
become
think
a
it-
No, they never talked about it. There was no
Did it
follow-up.
actually become a lawsuit though?
I think it did. He's so fucking litigious. There's no way Gary didn't trust. Gary was making nothing back then. Gary's the one who got hit. Gary's the one who would have sued.
This is
I don't think anything happened.
Who was there at the time? Who can I
It's
text?
you could. I think Scott might know. I
Scott
think
might know.
John might know.
John would know. I'm loving
yeah, but
this
Scott is
text.
easy.
Scott
I've
would
gotta
have to
make
be there, dude. Yeah, they brought Scott along.
Okay.
If I remember.
Hey, Scott.
I think Grillo might. Grillo wasn't there, but he might know
No.
what
Was
became of it.
Wondering.
All right, let's continue while Mon sends that through.
Can I just say one?
Yep.
I'm sorry.
You're
Can I
right,
just say
you're
one
right.
thing? So before a lot of what caused this, Howard was hogging guests at this thing. So he was keeping a guest. They have a strict rule that, on Radio Row you can only have the guest for 15 minutes. Howard was keeping him for 45 minutes and pissing everybody off. And management was going, look, you're destroying. I can't, you're not. And he wanted to be famous so bad back then that he wanted to, and he was threatening those guests. If you do that other show, you can't do our show because his was bigger. So he was doing like what you accused Leno of doing with the talk shows where they would threaten the guests. If you do Letterman, if you do Arsenio, if you do Dennis Miller, you can't do our show. So Howard actually caused that by hogging guests.
I remember when he saw
I remember
he
that
did
totally.
that all the time.
Yep.
That's what he does in series now. Same difference.
Yeah.
All right, go, sorry.
Michael, I'll see you in court.
Sit down. He just walked over here and started throwing things.
Elaine Boozler's manager or something just came over and shoved a bullhorn in my face, slapped me in the nose.
Beat up Gary.
And beat up Gary.
Deservedly so.
And there's no security here. I mean, what is with this guy?
Where's Casey Armstrong?
You get punched in the eye?
Oh, was Casey
No, I'm okay. I got punched in the face.
No.
You did?
Yeah, I got hit in the face with a
He
bullhorn.
was in
I never
Port
wanted
Jefferson
you
High
ever
School.
Wow.
say again that I don't do anything for you. You're good. I took a shot for you, man. Jesus. Who is that guy? He's her manager. What's his problem?
He has no sense of humor. That's why she's not funny.
What's his problem?
There's a guy who's traveling with us who's got a Ramones t-shirt. He came over and helped us out. He wrestled the guy to the ground because I don't know what would have happened. Unprovoked. I didn't throw a punch. His face was bleeding. What did you do? Did you sucker punch him? No. I grabbed him and held him, thinking that...
They didn't sue.
Oh.
I told you. Figured.
Yeah.
They didn't sue. Ah, wow, okay. What do you think they had?
Thank you, person I texted. Thank you.
So, answer the question in the chat. Ronnie was nothing but a limo driver at that time.
Period.
He
right.
literally was. That was all he was, a limo driver.
Not a bodyguard.
Yeah. That's a recent. That's a last 20-year kind of thing.
Dingometer down here, right? Some great posts, by the way, in the chat. Everybody. In the history.
Tamer. Dingo
Well, this
tamer.
is what I was saying. The only version of this.
Tamer, like Bond.
That's Sizzle Chest.
The dingo tamer.
That's Sizzle Chest. Welcome, Sizzle Chest. Welcome.
Sizzle Chest.
And this is classic Sizzle Chest.
So he says, kind of what he said is so true. This is what I tried to tell you. Like the full version of this, I was so happy. Thanks to Boff and Steve S. for coming through with some crazy obscure audio. I never got to hear this whole thing. It was always cut up in interstitials and going to a commercial, and you heard them kind of never the whole thing. And now we get
great one.
We defined interstitial in the last episode of 15 minutes.
All right. Also, Mr. Judy Tenuta. Yes, Ronnie was around, but Ronnie was not really a big part of the show. He was just something. Every once in a while, they'd go to him, but they would, like, when they had the Super Bowl party, they went to him, and he got him on the air for a little bit. But he was just a limo driver. That's all he was up until they got to Sirius. Then he became a personality. That's.
Well, you know why? Because he was angry. And so Howard,
angry.
again, capitalizing on somebody who's, angry and cranky, made him into, and he's another one, honestly. Everybody thinks that Ronnie's like this real guy and whatever, but you know what? He's a little affected. He's a little full of himself as well. I don't care what anybody says.
Little is the correct word.
I honestly thought the first time he became a, quote, personality, and I cannot use that term more loosely, is when Stuttering John called him Eugene, and they did the whole thing. Everybody thought he was Italian. The whole damn show. I thought he was. Everybody thought he was Italian.
Yeah,
and
but no Gindaloon names there, Kid Ronnie. Let's be honest.
Oh, I know. But even the name Mund is like Artie thought the name was anglicized. It was actually like Mundano or something. And when he was Jewish, it turned him into this whole thing and started writing songs about him and stuff. That's my opinion. That's when he became a personality.
All right, we've got a little bit left of this, so we'll just finish this. Elaine Boozler. Now I know who she is. It's who would need to
Don't you
defend
feel better now?
her? This insanely.
She's literally like Lisa Lampanelli before Lisa.
She's just getting big in Australia now, Vaughn. She'll hit you in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, she'll catch on. She'll catch on soon.
Oh my God, Mel Gibson.
Jesus.
All right, let me finish this. Here we go.
Maybe one of you other guys would be kind enough to come over and help me control him.
Yeah, listen to this.
I don't know, Jackie, anybody. He threw a punch at you, so I held him in my arms, and next thing I know,
I fell for you, Gary, because nobody was...
Can we sue him? Hey, we can file a lawsuit.
Isn't that amazing? Howard. Got a sue, got a lawsuit.
Listen to the frustration, and Gary, no one's got his Baba back.
Nope, no one's got
he is
Baba back,
by
no.
himself. They are the worst.
I'll just play that bit again. I'll just play that bit again with Gary. He's so sorry, Dennis. Go for it. I'll play it.
He's
after.
just a monkey on an island. It's just terrible.
The monkey that gets thrown to the wolves. That's all.
Just that bit of Gary upset. Listen to this.
His face was bleeding. What did you do? Did you sucker punch him? No. I grabbed him and held him, thinking that maybe one of you other guys would be kind enough to come over and help me control him. Who? I don't know, Jackie, anybody. He threw a punch at you, so I held him in my arms, and next thing I know,
Oh man.
Toadie Fields. Have you ever heard of her?
Yeah. Have you, Bon? Have you heard of Toadie Fields?
I'm not asking you, John. I know you have.
I have not.
Wow.
All right, Toadie Fields. Toadie Fields is also... Toadie Fields, it's kind of before our time, really.
Mm-hmm.
She was like the fat Jewish comedian. Let's go with.
This is like...
I don't know what else to say.
That's pretty much it.
This setup is it's like having a baseball bench clearing brawl, but you're the only one fighting the other team.
This is her.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
She looks like she should be
should
doing
be a hit in Australia.
infomercials for like leggings. She's yeah. So
Oh
she
my
started
God.
out. She was always the chunky monkey. Oh my God! Look who they have together: Elaine Boozler, Toadie
no.
Fields.
Oh my God. Wow.
She's the hottest chick we've ever had up here.
Exactly.
Very nice, Bon.
She's the hottest thing I've ever seen.
Isn't that amazing that they would have her with Elaine Boozler? Oh my
Wow,
God.
that's wow.
That makes absolute sense. Toadie Fields.
Great drop. That was a great Artie drop.
I'm loving the drops. I told
They're
you
so
I'd put
fun.
them together.
They're so fun.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's Toadie Fields. So yeah,
I think she'd be big in Australia.
She's big everywhere.
She's
Hootie
big
Licious,
everywhere.
thank you so much, sir, ma'am. Hootie.
Hootylicious.
There's probably a lot of people saying, well, Bon, you've been doing drops of Monique, you've been doing drops of John. Don't you have a drop for Dennis? Yeah, I actually do. John sent this.
If you want to go after someone, go after Dennis. He has a thing for black girls.
Very nice.
That should not be true.
21 Jump Street, Season 3, Episode 1.
Wow. And we know that's correct. That's the part.
My
Fun
God,
with animals.
Wow.
So funny.
I like the
Dennis,
dark-
we dig you. You're our guy.
So many.
All right, what do we get next?
Many. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you knew
That's
how
so great.
long I've been collecting them.
And Bon, the sound quality is great on the drops. It's like really blends in nice.
It's working.
Dennis does that for me. He called me when I was traveling. He said, "You're going to be traveling in rain the next couple of days."
There you go. Thank you, Dennis.
Dennis does that for me.
Hello, TF0. Thanks for the compliments, my friend.
I can't stop laughing. It's so ridiculous. All right, now we got a video now. So John, oh fuck, it's so funny.
Great job on those drops, really.
I can't get over how much that kid looks like a Baba Booey family member.
crazy.
I mean, it's just really
it's
different
crazy.
in a way.
It's literally a branch off the tree.
Now, John, intro this for this is a classic. Now we're getting into real classic moments. So John, AJ Benza.
Okay, yeah, this
That's
is
a fight. Yes.
This is Tertiary Gary. He really is
Gary?
just he just jumped Stuttering John and AJ. Again, I hate in this that Howard never got targeted by AJ for setting this whole putting John on. So Stuttering John is pranking AJ and he busts his balls, and this is a famous AJ John fight. AJ runs back into the green room and sucker punches John. Gary doesn't get a hit, but he yelps in between them and then spills out with him in the hall. And then Gary does this whole bitch fit back to Howard, and it is somehow Gary stole the show. What's that, Money?
Didn't we discuss this with AJ at the time?
We did, and we also
our
discussed it with
classic
Casey.
AJ.
With Casey,
Yes.
because
Oh, that's
this
right.
is when I said this is my theory that Casey was the real security. If you watch Casey when the dust settles, Casey's in between them, and he has got that fucking stare. Casey has that stare on him. He has a look of like, you just don't fuck with this guy. And
I have to text my good-smelling boy and see if he's listening. Are you watching tonight?
So Casey's standing between him, and you can see AJ eyeing Casey that if he makes a move, he's gonna be put in the referee position. And poor Jefferson.
We are talking about you.
In a chicken wing.
Just gonna let you know that Casey made me buy Mace the other day. Not gonna say why. Just,
wow.
It just made me buy Mace. Wow. Yeah. He's like, if you don't buy it, I'm gonna send it.
Dorian
to you.
Morgan. I think Casey could take them both at the same time. In fact, I know
could
he
take
can.
absolutely any of them. Casey could take any of them.
The whole staff at the same time.
The whole staff. Yeah. Absolutely. Sinlu Hu, thank you so much. Thank you for holding the podcast so I can buy Armin's mozzarella sticks.
Get those mozzarella sticks.
Am I wrong at those mozzarella sticks at Target are unbelievable, and
I would never eat that. That's like going
come
to
on. In an air, you have the air fryer. You have the fucking air fryer. You got to use it.
I mean, come on.
No. Could you tell him, Dennis, please, how long that is?
It's not right.
It's not real food.
That's no. That's like going to Olive Garden and think you're eating Italian.
That's not even breaded polio. Okay,
yeah,
that's not even that.
I don't know what it is. It's
that's
like
I'm from a
softball generation, Monique. When I was,
but
I
you're
would tag
Italian.
along.
You should know better.
I know, but I can white trash it with the best of them. I mean, look, I've been to Shirley, I've been to Mastic.
Yeah. Shirley and Mastic, yeah, that's where you're gonna get mozzarella sticks over at the Applebee's with your riblets. All right.
Riblets.
I've had those too. I had those too 2 weeks ago.
All right, so here we go. We're gonna do the fight, right? Okay, I'm editing it right now.
And you know who's really embarrassed? Even more embarrassed at that show than AJ?
Who?
His hair. It jumped right off his head to get away from him.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
I knew it was John. I knew it.
Get him in right now. I swear to Christ, when I leave... You're doing it? All right, let me tell you something.
You fat bastard.
You better leave early. No, they'll be tomorrow.
I'm going to smack you silly, you prick. Hey, Howard, AJ stands for arrogant jerk, by the way.
I swear to God, the next break, you watch what happens. I don't care if I ever come back again. I'm going to go in there and punch you in
the... listen, I have a good wig for you to wear back here, AJ.
AJ's classic tough guy. You know,
Punch Howard. He put him on.
Everything pisses AJ off.
Yep.
All you have to do is look at him the wrong way. When AJ used to be out at the clubs, because I used to see him every once in a while, as you know,
that's so funny.
He was always that guy. Like he was my shit does not sting. You know, he was in the papers. He was a gossip columnist, and so there was like two schools of thought with AJ. Either you wanted to be really, really good friends with him, or you wanted nothing to fucking do with him because you didn't want him telling your shit on air or on paper or on print. You know, so he had his friends, and they usually were like the bartenders, the doorman, the limo driver, people like that. But like real people, like real legit people didn't want to come near him because they were really afraid that he would say something about him. You know, a little anonymous post in the post, and you're
go.
I'm gonna beat you worse than Chuck Zito.
AJ, what happened between you two? Oh, he's going to go.
Power.
Listen.
Ow! Jesus. Look at John. He's
John doesn't care.
Come on, right now. I'll beat your ass, AJ. I'm up right now, motherfucker.
Go home, AJ. Go home.
Oh, really?
No, really. Just for now. I'm not saying go home like
just
get
for
out.
now.
I'm saying
like
go home like calm
just go
down.
home for now.
You can't
now look at Casey
with the mom jeans.
AJ, you can't.
He's making no eye contact.
Casey with the mom jeans.
You can't take that joke.
All right. What happened? Let's get. Who punched in the head?
I got punched.
This is great.
Punched in the head.
That asshole.
What happened?
He went out and punched John.
He did?
Yeah, I told him to go home. I didn't think AJ was really going to punch him, so I was just trying to stay in the middle of him.
Yeah.
And he took a shot at John. He got me in the side of the head. I thought that AJ was kidding around when he was like, where's John? Like, I thought it was a joke.
Right.
And I said, AJ, you can't punch him. He was like, no, I'm not going to punch him. And then he punched him.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just like,
Where did you get hit?
No, he didn't hit me like with a punch. He got me in the side of the head with his arm. There's only one person bleeding here, AJ.
Who's bleeding? You're bleeding?
That's right, and I'll beat your ass again. You come over here, I'll kick your ass, AJ, anytime.
AJ, sit down.
He's fearless. John doesn't give a shit.
Oh, John
Seems to have
didn't give a
retouched,
shit.
right?
John, he's. There's nothing annoys me more than Howard acting all. Oh God, what happened? He put him up.
yeah.
AJ, you want
he
to
set that whole thing up.
Set
Yeah,
the whole thing up.
Oh my God, this name I just put up, which is Harry Vayner.
Clitoris.
Clitoris.
Is that Richard Christie? Sal Governale.
No, it's Harry Vayner.
I was a mean girl in high school.
This guy's.
Wow.
I was a mean girl in high school.
How about Casey? Casey shove it with a Tom Rathman chop block on with AJ wearing Target flip flops.
Go Johnny.
Wow.
Casey just said to me, I've been having nightmares about you guys laughing at me like you did to Bon Jovial when he couldn't get his clips to play.
Ah, this is sweet. Man,
Take it easy on him. He rules.
There's two addendums to this. There was a big controversy over Jap shot. So it was like a Long Island term when you sucker punch someone. It's called a Jap shot.
Jap shot, yeah.
And a lot of people didn't know it in their studio, which I knew. I think it's a Long Island thing, perhaps.
It is.
And
well,
later on, Trump calls in, and it's not on
Same
this,
day?
but Trump calls in and he tells him, go ahead, Dennis, you want to finish it?
He tells Stuttering John he should sue AJ for hitting.
No, sue the station.
Oh, sue the station.
Sue Howard, sue the station.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, at the time, he and AJ were at odds because AJ used to write about him all the friggin' time.
Exactly.
So that's why it was like a very easy, call for Donald to make to say, hey, you know what? Sue him. Fuck them all.
But, that's what's missing from the show right now is that happened organically.
The spontaneity.
That was organic. That call-in was organic. They didn't set that up.
Yep.
And it's just... It's just
spot on.
Stuff.
That's a huge missing element. It's everything.
Yeah.
Thank you, hyena ubiquitous.
Is that really
ubiquitous? Wow.
The Jesus twins.
All right, where are we now?
John's going to intro this. Gary talks Ebonics to
Oh, God, the worst.
You guys hear this? You guys know this one?
I know this one.
Slightly obscure, but very underrated. This is Gary earning his keep. This is Gary doing his due diligence. The comedian D.L. Hughley had never done the show before. He calls in to pre-interview him, and they get the racist part of the Stern Show, get an idea. Let's have Gary thinks he's a wigger, and he'll just talk Ebonics to DL and freak him out on the phone. And Gary studies the script. I think who do you think wrote this for him? Jackie?
Oh, definitely Jackie.
Okay. And he studies the script and he delivers it smoothly, where he's not even sounding like he's being condescending to him. I can't explain it, but he's like almost charming during the whole thing. And DL just rolls with it. DL Hughley just understands everything he says. He wants to get on the show, and so.
All right, go for it. Come on.
D.L. Hughley is a comedian, black guy. I guess he wanted to get on the show. But this tape is amazing, because Gary calls him. D.L. Hughley knows everything Gary's talking about.
What happened to him and understand.
Because he lives in California, I guess he thought that all white guys in New York talk like this or something.
I didn't think I was going to get past the second line.
Me neither.
I was going to say, hey, what are you doing? Stop acting like a jerk. Yo, what's up? D.L. Hughley on the phone. That you there?
Yeah, it is. How you doing?
This is Howard's producer, Gary Dell'Abate. What's up?
I know you. How you doing, man? I'm all right. How you doing?
Good. I just got to ask you a couple of questions and tell you a little bit about the show and stuff.
Sure.
Okay, first of all,
by the way.
A lot of peeps, when they get up in this piece, they be all front, trying to be the Mac. And the best way to talk to Howard is to just chill. Don't get up in his grill. You just lay back in the cut and rap with the dude like he's your homeboy.
Well, I would do that anyway, but thanks for the advice.
So, I caught the tape of your comedy special, and I got to tell you, it was off the hook.
Thanks, man.
It was real dope.
Thanks.
Blazing.
Thanks.
But you can't really come up in here and be telling jokes because that ain't Howard Steele.
My sphincter is puckering. I can't even listen to this. It's all
amazing. Great. I love it.
I have a fantasy of Beanie Mac and Gary having a conversation just like this.
Beanie Mac speaks so wonderfully and eloquently.
We love him.
Gary sounds like
he was supposed to be on this
next to Beanie Mac.
I know.
Seriously. All right,
Brian Gumble.
The show's about realness, so we try to keep it real.
Right.
What's the deal? Are you married or are you a player?
I've been married 13 years, man. I was married so long I forgot what life was
like. He's even laughing.
You got any shorties?
3.
Wow.
3. Yeah, when I was 21.
You ever hit chicken heads or pigeons?
Yeah, I have.
Because I
don't even know what that means. I bet you he doesn't know either.
Well, they don't
explain
explain it either.
They do. It's an ugly chick.
Oh, okay. I cut it out.
But he understands everything, DL usually.
I'm like, what in the world is the answer to that question?
Yeah, well, do you have any shorties? Those are kids. Gary did a real good job here.
Yes, he
Shorties
did.
can also be chicks,
Yeah,
too.
he'll ask you if you ever be scamming on a DL or something.
Oh, yeah, man, you know what? I've been a man.
Because Howard loves to talk about hitting skins.
Yeah, I've heard him.
Wow.
Now, I'm not sure if you mentioned this in your show, but do you hit the Buddha at all? Because if you smoke trees, that's something you could definitely talk about.
Well, you know what? For the purposes of this interview, no, I don't.
You know, how about getting papers? Were you in a struggle before you were famous?
I was, you know what?
Now, you don't even understand that, right? He knows
Who's
right away.
giving him all this stuff
Papers
to say,
is,
Rashawn?
money.
No.
Jackie.
Jackie, listen to Jackie laughing, Dory.
Yeah,
that's
that's the big tip off.
Amazing. Totally Christina Brown.
Monique.
Brown activist.
Yeah, it was Christina Brown.
Monique, apparently Gary rehearsed this for a week straight before he delivered it to him.
Wow.
Oh my god, I love that you changed your name to Christina Brown activist. Full appropriation.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
Not fun or funny.
Is there any more to
You
this
don't even
cringe
understand that, right?
Yeah.
He knows right away. Papers is money.
Well,
How about getting money? Were you in the struggle? Were you on hard times before you got famous?
what'd you do before you became famous?
Right, to get money.
Like brothers, we couldn't work the comedy clubs. We used to have to work like skating rinks and dance clubs that was, they'd be dancing, in 10 minutes they'd clean up the drinks, and then you get to come in there and tell jokes, and that was really how we made a living up until 1992, 93.
Right. But now that you're successful, are you living large?
Man, you know what? Now I have people come. There's this cat I ain't seen in 6 years call and ask me for $175,000. I'm like, man,
Jesus.
I wouldn't give my father $175,000 if he needed a leg transplant.
Now, you got any hot rides or cribs or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I live comfortable. I have a couple of nice houses and a couple of nice cars.
Listen, when you come to Libertyville, if you like to
how
sit
would
down...
Jackie know any of this lingo? I don't even know
don't
any
know.
of it.
I
as
don't
it's
know.
still
But he
going
wrote
on.
it. I mean, you could tell he wrote it because he's laughing so hard.
I think he just researched. I think he researched Ebonics and just wrote it for him.
Yeah, I mean...
No, they
You think you weren't getting that in Bayville. Monique, you were in Bayville. You're not getting
maybe so.
DMX speak in Bayville.
Jackie's had some very off-color stuff, so...
Oh, no, he's absolutely...
Yeah, but
I do think
this
it's
is lingo. This is lingo that none of the four of us squares right here know. Well, maybe
I knew some of it.
Maybe
I knew
Lemmy
some of
Booey.
it.
Yeah, ooey.
I know half of it.
I've actually heard some of this too.
I haven't.
Because I like that dark beat.
By the way, we have Gina Bobina here with G
I
Canada,
know,
so
I
we
saw.
are 1/10 Canadian tonight.
Holy shit, Gina!
Is that
How
legal?
do you not know? That's why I went to my little brand thing here so that I could tell you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little belly thingy, the little bell thingy, and that's how you know that we're going live. Silly.
She's too busy in Opie's podcast.
Yeah. Oh snap! Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that how it
She saw me the other day with the hair question.
All right. Is there more to that clip or no? We're done.
It's kind of winding down.
It's a
It was
little
like
more.
10
It's winding
seconds.
down?
All right, go for
Here we
it.
go.
A couple of nice houses and a couple of nice cars.
Listen, when you come to Libertyville, if you like to sit down, we could smoke a bowl and a Buddha Doogie. That'd be great.
Wow, that would be cool.
I feel you seem like a pretty nice guy, man. I feel cool with you.
I'm a real nice guy.
Yeah, you can call me if you want to. I would be honored.
You cut that.
Oh snap! Thank you. Oh my God!
That's-
Thank you for.
The hat
Thank you.
suit.
For,
That's
Yeah.
Says
That
you
definitely-
bleep the N-word for everybody.
Definitely
That's
Jackie.
you.
Howard doesn't.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm
Definitely Jackie.
Oh,
I'm looking
fun.
after
Thank
my
you so
mom.
much.
Gary says you
Really.
can call me the N-word if you want to. I would
Yes,
be honored.
I think everybody understood that. That's
Maybe
exactly
not.
what
Maybe
he
not.
was
Maybe not.
saying. Wow.
There's a little more.
Go.
I still have to come home, but I appreciate that. Thanks for the invitation.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thanks for taking the time to speak with me. You're good peeps.
Thanks.
And I think the interview's going to be the bomb. I just needed to get, ask you a couple of questions about your life and stuff.
I'm so embarrassed by this,
All right.
honestly.
Take care.
Man,
I feel left out.
isn't that amazing?
Jesus.
I love that.
Wow,
Good work.
that is-
That's a great one, John.
Could be for.
Wow.
Thank you very much. I thought it was.
You know they didn't go to Robin. You know they didn't go to Robin.
I
Kennedy
know, they
to-
said-
that speak.
They actually say that in there. Robin didn't understand a word of it.
They didn't understand a word
Yeah.
of it.
Was D.L. Hewley,
He was a stand-up comedian.
Part of the Kings of Comedy tour. Remember the thing with
I saw him
Bernie
once.
Mac
It was not very
and
good.
Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. He had a
Who's the
sitcom
other
called
little
The
guy
Hughleys.
right now who's worth millions and
Kevin
millions
Hart.
of dollars? Who?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin
No.
Hart. So was D.L. Hughley Kevin Hart before Kevin Hart was?
No.
He's a
D.L.
smaller
Hughley's
Kevin
pretty.
Hart.
D.L. Hughley's pretty political. He's
Oh,
good.
is he?
He's a good. Yeah, he's on. I always love him when he's on any radio show in long form. I think I could listen to him all day. I think he's really good.
Huh. Okay, I don't know much about him. He's not
Very
really,
likable.
He's not a comedian of my taste. Oh, sorry. I don't really know him at all. Actually.
Monique
I know what he
doesn't
looks
like the blacks.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all.
I actually saw him once. It wasn't that good.
You saw him by himself, Dana?
Yeah, I did. It was
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he come to the social club to perform for?
No.
No.
That'd be a big no.
And you shot him with a hose.
I see that we have a video up next. What is this?
Bill Maher, John. Bill Maher.
Okay, very, very similar in the vein. These two get confused with Dennis Miller and Bill Maher are often lumped in the same category, and this is just like that. But now you see a video. Gary's in the green room, small talking Bill Maher, who is about to host Whack Pack Politically Incorrect. It's early in the morning. Maher's not used to these hours, and I always look at this like Gary's trying to angle himself for a job in case. Howard, whatever, does something else.
This
and
is
so Bill
so
Maher is
awkward.
politically incorrect on ABC at the time. And it looks like Gary's trying to schmooze him. And Maher's not having it.
That's right.
Oh, Maher looks so angry at Gary.
And then they bring it into the studio again.
I need to know who you are because I'm sure I know you and you're killing me. I love every.
They'll never identify. Nobody gives up their IDs in the chat.
Nobody gives up their IDs, and you know
very,
what?
Very
I
witness
love
protection.
that.
Yep.
I love that I don't know who they are. It's just so delicious.
Thing funny about Bill, he says, Bill is the kind of guy, he says, when he comes in, he makes it very clear there's going to be no small talk back in the green room. Yeah. Because Bill's not one of those guys that's
Bill is a typical comedian, not a fun guy.
Yeah.
Is it tough to do that show? Or
take it Joe's Fix-It Shop or Lee Miles?
it seems
it's tough to do every show. Lee Miles they've been there for 40 years.
It just seems to be like there's no like.
The most trusted name.
It's always hard. It's always hard to do a show by committee. You know what I mean? Where there's, like when they do that show, one person doesn't sit down and interview.
Look at the Marilyn Manson post
all of
behind
them.
Maher.
I know.
Yes. And it's not sort of hard
Nice.
to like all talking over each other and everyone has different ideas
You're
of
drinking
one.
the same thing.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, the more other people talk, the less I have to.
I just heard not a fun guy.
No.
Just put on the head.
Typically-
Wait, what was the first part of
The
that?
first part was typically comedians are not fun guys, and I have to agree.
That's not true.
Oh, that is so true.
How would you know?
Because I know comedians.
No, but you don't. You don't hang out with them. You don't party with them.
No, what, we don't know comedians? What, we're
You
not in show
surely
business?
don't know them as well as I do.
Yeah,
It would be
how
like
could you
me-
say that?
Because you guys are in radio. You're up at 4 in the morning.
saw you. You weren't having fun in there.
It's at 8 in the morning.
So
Of course, this is not the
Lighten
hour.
up.
This is not the hour
How
of
human are you?
comedians. Comedians hang out late at night in night.
What time can we expect you to be fun?
At least 8 hours from now. I'm only fun at this hour if I've been up all night.
So far, I'm not laughing. You don't seem like that much fun.
Actually, you sound like you're in a much better mood than the last time I was here.
Is that right?
So I guess divorce agrees with you.
Well,
Oh, very nice. Keeping that in, Bomb.
Ooh, damn.
And that was a running thing, and those are two drastic ones back then. Of when the guest is kind of prickly. Let's bring that on the air, and Howard will pit them against who could have been John, it could have been Grillo, and obviously Gary in the situation. But that was one of the great interview things Howard did back then. Is he would
Does
bring that
anybody know
into
the answer to this question I just put up from David, the violinist?
No, that's not true, David. Maher's dad liked Howard a lot. They worked together at NBC, and they actually had a great relationship. That's how Maher got on the show initially. Howard knew him. Apparently, Maher's father used to brag about Bill being a comedian on the New York scene, and he would try to get him on Howard's earlier NBC show, but he was too raw. But they actually liked each other. I wish he hated him. Believe me, I'm with you, but they didn't.
There you go.
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 We got to do Fred Part 2, by the way.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah,
We got
but you
some
know
more
what? The next
stuff.
show
The Invisible-
has to be Eric the Midget. It's
Yeah,
like
I know.
everybody
But
wants that show. It has to be.
You know, we could do Fred the last couple of years. It could just be just silence for 45 minutes.
There is no Fred show.
There is no Fred show.
Yeah, that's a
40-second
good
show.
point.
That's so funny, Dennis.
It's very true.
It's so
He's
funny. I was
fucked
in
now.
the car with one of my friends, and I was driving somewhere the other day, and I had the Stern Show on, and which one was it? It was the week before last.
They all run together. Sorry.
They all do.
They all do.
And so Fred was playing like these horrible clips, just
Yeah.
like stupid old shit.
The same stuff.
And my girlfriend looked at me and said, "This is horrible." She's like, how do you still listen to this and do a podcast on this?" She's like,
She's
this
right.
sounds literally like, Z100 back when it was actually a good show.
Yeah, it's a Z Morning Zoo now. It is. If that's an insult, is zoos.
Yeah, it's a zoo. It really is a zoo.
It's so inauthentic and forced, and you don't like
and
anybody
Fred
on
calls
this.
it in. Fred just phones it in. Like,
As I comment in the morning, zoos in Boise, Idaho mock this thing. I mean, this is below a regular zoo. This is the knocking before somebody comes. Oh, Jesus Christ!
That sounds exactly like
and then
it
it's
too.
Chris, and it's Chris. It's the same sound effect, and then Chris Wilding shows up just to make it even worse.
Leave it to Two Master with that fucking obscure reference. I think he's referencing Cruel Intentions. Fred plays a fucking New York doorman, and Ryan Felipe leaves his car. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Brilliant.
Sir.
All right, what do we have next? Listen, I know not everybody wants the Eric the Midget show, but everybody does want the Eric the Midget
polarizing.
show. And we will do a Hank show at some point. We will definitely do Dead Wag
and Hank
Packers.
was awesome too.
Nobody
Oh my
that's
God.
alive right now because I hate them all. But yes,
I hate them all.
We will do that.
Well, the
And,
ones that are left suck.
There's a guy on Instagram who does who has access to every single Eric the Midget Twitter, Instagram, everything he's ever done.
No.
And he posts them every day on Instagram. They're the
I'm on
funniest
his.
things.
I'm following it. I love it.
Oh my God.
And yeah,
It's
so
awesome.
he's agreed to come on that show with us. So it'll be fun.
Oh,
and he'll
fucking
give us
cool.
like a really
Wow.
good
Wow, that's sweet.
I know, it'll be fun. I'm looking
There's almost a
forward to that.
disturbing amount of Eric the Midget archivists and curators out there on YouTube
Oh my God,
and otherwise.
yes.
It's crazy.
But the problem is he speaks so slow that one clip that's like 10 minutes long literally
It's like 6
only
words.
is giving you like
Yeah.
10, 15 words worth of...
Good luck with that.
You
It's
know what?
going to be one
Here's the
crazy
cruelest way.
podcast.
Yeah, it's
You know what
brutal.
the cruelest part of this whole thing is that he became so famous and yet made no money.
No.
Oh God,
Yeah,
Dennis,
no.
we were talking. I think
There's
Monique
no
and I were
cameo.
talking about
Yeah,
that.
we were talking about it. He would have been brilliant
ought-
on
yeah.
Cameo now.
Yeah, he would. Oh my God, could you imagine a cameo?
Oh,
my
he would have killed
God.
it. He would have killed it. Yes, Bon. So when you do get around to putting together our Eric the Midget show,
Speed him
Am I
up.
doing it? I feel
No,
like I
I'm-
peeled on that.
I got a ton of.
Yeah, he's got to speed up Eric the Midget.
yeah, no, we definitely have to speed him up. We will do
Yeah,
everything.
that's a great idea. Speed him
times
up a
two.
little bit.
Yeah, it's
That'll
perfect.
ruin it because part of the greatness was Howard asking Eric a question and waiting that 10 seconds to get just no. Howard would be saying something just. They got into this whole thing where Howard would ask Eric if he'd do movie roles if he had to play a gay character. And Eric would just go, no.
Right to
and
that.
Howard did all these different scenarios if he was a returned war veteran who'd been
Immediate change of the channel.
incapacitated.
Immediate.
And,
Oh, come on, that stuff was so great.
Oh,
Nick
It
from
was actually interesting.
no, it was
No.
funny because Howard would say,
interesting,
would you
funny.
play that role? And
Yeah.
Eric would say, yeah. And then Howard would say, wait, I've just been told. If they mean it's a gay character. And then Eric would go, no.
Now.
I said that he has more testosterone the entire show. He's like a huge, wrestling fan. He loves Northern California sports. He's actually way more manly.
I got nothing.
than Master.
Oh, absolutely.
I got nothing, but we'll come back to that because
got
we're all
nothing.
about Gary tonight.
Real
right.
quick, guys.
Who?
Nick DiPaolo from Boston wants to know: would we do it? Would you guys be into a Riley Martin show?
You know what? I have been in contact with Eron like 2 or 3 times to come on the show, and then he kind of just ghosted me. I don't even think he's involved in the
Look at you using ghosted now.
website anymore. And he promised me he would come on the show, but this was a couple of years ago, honestly, when I was really caring about getting I was kind of like faux norm, trying to get everybody on
Yeah.
from the show that we could possibly get. And he said he would love to do it, and then that was it. I wrote to him a couple of times and never heard back from him. So I would love to have Iran on the show. How much?
If we can get Richard Grieco on the Deepening, we can get Iran, which we can. He agreed to do it. He agreed.
Yeah, I mean,
I swear to God, I want to bring Monique in for that.
Oh my God, my ex-boyfriend.
What's so sad is that Iran actually sounded so grounded on that show. That was the best part. He was.
I like Iran. Yeah,
he was just great because
great
Riley'd
charisma.
be like on a tangent that was just like holy shit, and Iran just asked such a normal question to him like holy shit.
But it's not that hard to be normal around insane people.
Well,
You know
that's
what I mean?
true.
Yeah.
You only have to be like one or two
What a
levels
straight
up
note.
from that
Be
in order
straight,
to
but-
be
and to be straight. And to be
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah. All right. What do we have next, Bon? As we tangent off.
Smelly James.
Oh, I got to set this up. All right,
Smelly
this is all
James.
me.
Set it up. Set it up there.
All right. I don't know if the chat. We know Matt from the Mini Fan Show loves Smelly James. Any old school Stern fans? He was a 32-year-old intern who was a really hack comedian, and he came in and they would goof on him and stuff. And he was apparently, I think, allegedly, he died of a heroin. Peter DeLuise is. Oh, God. I couldn't stop looking. We might be able to get Michael DeLuise. So Smelly James, towards the end of his stint, he was determined to get Howard's ear. So he stole. I just found this the other day. And
Gary
thanks
puppet?
again to Boff and Steve S for this weird show. And he stole Howard's personal fax number. He stole it from Gary's Rolodex.
Oh my God.
And he was faxing Laura Lackner and Howard comedy ideas and bashing Gary at the same time. Smelly
wow.
James then dies of a heroin overdose. Melrose Larry Green calls the show to report this, and Gary has no problem speaking ill of the dead. He hates this guy, and it's
he's
crazy.
Incredibly insensitive.
I just have to tell you, Renaissance Man. No, that's neither. That is some basketball player named what's his name?
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, the rookie of the year. last year.
I had a teacher in school named Mrs. Fellabella. What's his name?
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo
Of the Charlotte
Ball.
Hornets, point guard.
There you go, Renaissance Man. That's who that is. He looks exactly like he belongs in
Yep.
the Bowie family.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's up there.
Who passed away?
Smelly James, remember him?
Smelly James, our intern?
Right.
He did pass away?
Yeah, we've Benny was supposed to find out if this happened.
I remember Smelly James.
The real weird intern that was here, and he did stand up once, and he wore the Eddie Murphy pants, the red pants.
Smelly James.
I just want to say one thing, Howard. He really loved all you guys.
Right. What is this?
Here's the deal.
Smelly James is probably alive.
No, I think he's probably telling the truth. I mean, I heard this rumor, but even if he isn't,
I
I'm
guarantee
sorry the guy's dead.
Yeah.
But he wasn't that nice a guy.
No, he wasn't.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sorry he's dead.
That's all of us.
You know what he did, Howard? Sometimes we keep things from you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something he did now.
What did he do?
When he was working here.
dead.
Shut up. Shush. So big deal. That makes him a nice guy.
Go ahead.
Wow.
When he was working here, he got a hold
crazy,
of
right?
your fax number at home.
Wow.
And he used to fax letters to you that Laura would intercept, where he would tell you what a jerk I was and how I was keeping incredible ideas away from you that were going to make this show a huge hit.
Oh. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to get into a fight with
So
you.
sorry to hear the guy died.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
too.
right.
I don't want him to be
No,
dead.
I like you, Gary.
By the way, where are those ideas? I need them.
There we go.
Jackie.
Wait, so how old was Smelly James when he died? Like, how long had he been off the show when he died?
That's an
I need to
excellent
know, like, what are
question,
the
Monique.
details
He
here?
was, when I first was aware of him, he was 32, and I want to say that was 95, 96. This is 3 years later, so he's probably 35, 36 when he died of a supposed heroin overdose. I think
was he
Grillo
more of
knows
like
his backstory,
a
Monique.
Whackpacker-ish kind of guy? Like,
Yeah, but he was an intern. He was. I think Grillo, Monique, has the intel on him. I couldn't
Okay.
find if you could text him.
What
maybe.
would you like to know?
Ask him what Smelly James died of.
Okay. Hold on, I'll do that right now.
Jesus.
So next, John, we've got Howard is a music poser.
Oh yes.
This is a fight that's on. A lot of people have. Some of these are obscure and some of these not so obscure. This is not so obscure, apparently. This is just a fight that a lot of people know. Gary called Howard a music poser. He doesn't. He melds into whatever's cool at the time, and Gary's Mr. Fucking, Poco and Hall and Oates, and Gary lets him have it here. He the moment of Gary losing it, and he doesn't want to be obsequious, and he lets Howard have it here. And a very, very good argument.
There's a great bit in it where Howard compares Gary and his age as being the same, and wait for Gary's response to that. It's hilarious.
Yes,
Howard
Gary's
must be living in an alternate
Hey, John, before I forget,
universe.
Casey wants you to sing Southern Cross.
Wow, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. There you go.
At the end of the show.
Let me do it next time.
He
Because
said,
I made a promise
forward to Arm's
of
song. I'm
talk.
going with Southern Cross.
Oh, listen to this. John is
you're going talk.
vetoing songs.
No, I'll do it. I'll totally do it. I just got to
Wow.
practice it. I made it.
You're fucking loving it. I love you.
Wow.
Right back at you, Bon.
So Monique, we got that
but
video
we do love you.
queued.
Okay, and he needs...
By the way, Monique, your gravy is so good, it gets shipped to Xavier in dry ice.
What? When did I say that?
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's I don't remember saying that.
I don't remember.
Big Mouth, I told him one time that I had made
This is why you tell Big Mouth nothing.
You
Diligent.
set me up for that so well, Mon. Thank you.
Wow. Wow.
He's
Not
dropping
fun or
conversations.
funny.
Who's talking? Is it real
I know.
or fake?
Oh my God, I love that.
We
I
don't
love
know
that.
what's happening at all.
Is this a rerun?
You realize that Bon Jovial's is doing more work tonight than Fred has done in the last 3 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, I know. Great point, Dennis. Great
Dennis,
point.
that's very
Dennis,
good.
you should have seen the look on that cop's face when you nailed him with a donut.
I love these.
What? You got that too? I never thought you'd play that.
Oh, I got them all.
I don't even know what's real anymore. I'm going crazy right now.
Look,
love that.
Dennis, I need to talk to you. Howard has a question for you, Dennis.
Dennis, what was the thing recently? You were in a club, you were doing a DJing thing, personal appearance. You had one of those wire packs on you with a microphone.
Forgot to turn off your
You
mic.
went upstairs with 6 broads, and you started talking dirty to them and fucking them. And everyone in the club, because you were still mic'd, could hear you fucking and having a dirty talk. Was that intentional on your part?
Dennis?
Dennis?
Bon, you're getting rave reviews on these drops. We're gonna keep throwing them at you, and I think phenomenal.
I got
It's so
Dennis,
much
you're
fun.
going to a desert island. You get to bring one broad with you. The only choices are Madonna, Carmen, Electra. Who do you take?
Dennis, do you want to answer that? Or?
That's Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra, of course.
Yeah,
That's
all
not
right.
a question.
Oh my God, I'm loving this show. I'm loving it.
All right,
So we got that video ready.
Oh, I'm dying with these drops. They're classic. Okay.
I hate the music he listens to.
Of course you do.
It's like soulless. You're so white.
Soulless.
You are. It's like you listen to Steely
You're
Dan.
such a
It's
wannabe.
soulless.
You're the biggest
Steely Dan.
wannabe.
Why is it a wannabe?
You
Steely
are.
Dan
It's like,
sucks.
oh, you're a poser.
A poser.
I think you're a bit of a poser when it comes to the music.
Choose what you think is good.
But what do you mean? I'm sitting at home listening to his music because I don't like it?
He doesn't
Billy
think you're
West.
authentic, I guess.
To some degree.
Why would you sit at home and listen to music you don't like?
Well, you don't think people do that?
No, of course not. You mean you would sit in a room when you have free time and listen to music you don't like?
watching you?
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that? That makes no sense, you moron.
Okay. I think it helps you feel a little young.
Those bangs.
Well, you're the same age as me.
No, I'm not. I'm 9 years younger than you.
I never understood so young about it.
Well, because it's music geared to younger people than you.
How is that geared to younger people?
Howard, if you went to the concert for this band, how many people that look like you would be there?
I think I look pretty much like everybody who would be there.
You don't think you'd be a little bit older than most of the people there? I'm not saying you have to act old, but...
No, what do you mean? Would I be older in age?
Yeah.
I think most people my age don't go to concerts. They stop living.
True. You want to get into it, you did become old and then get young again.
When did I become old? My career, have I ever been old?
What did you look like when you were at NBC?
What does looks have to do with how you feel inside?
No, but what did you look like when you were at NBC? Why did you have the short hair and the work shirt and the mustache?
Because that's what suited me. I was a heavy-set guy, and that's the way I looked.
But that's what you sort of became, and then you sort of got out of it.
Became? Did I change
Nice
my
job,
musical
Bon,
taste?
putting that in.
Did I like the music at NBC?
Yeah, he used to listen to Barbra
That wasn't in
Streisand.
the...
Yeah, I used to love Barbra
Yeah.
Streisand when I was at NBC.
You put that in.
Because nobody was more of a rebel than I was. I mean, my whole career, I was fired. You insult me.
I know.
What do you think? I'm going to change my whole personality for music?
I mean, what did you used to listen to when we were at NBC? What sort of music did you listen to back then?
Whatever was current, Van Halen or...
No, you didn't.
No, he didn't.
I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. Can't even think of
AC/DC?
two groups.
Yeah.
No.
All I know is that Howard was into Cream and Mountain.
Right,
and
when I was in high school.
And I don't know what your musical tastes were in the middle. I don't know.
You listen to pussy bands.
Like I enjoy Pearl Jam. I enjoy Live. I enjoy all those bands.
You know what Gary's talking about himself? Ralph pointed this out to me. Gary had to go to the Pearl Jam concert once they got famous.
Right.
He had to see them.
Yeah.
But Gary doesn't. But Gary doesn't.
He is he's doing a new thing lately. Remember when Howard went through a phase where he would have on like some stupid, shooting stars or whatever, train or whatever. And apparently, I think what was happening at the time, and I think we talked about it at the time, is that somebody would give him the lyrics so that he would actually know the lyrics while the intro or outro music was playing. Now he has like fun facts about the band.
Yes.
Yeah. He's doing like this weird thing.
Collective
As a matter of fact,
soul.
I made a note the other day because he started to play this. Wait, hold on one second. This was so crazy to me. Hold on, I have to go to my Google Music really quickly.
You missed the train.
He's playing this song. He's playing this.
Are you
He's
serious?
playing In a Big Country, right?
Oh my
and then
God.
He starts to give you a whole story about what Big Country is actually about and why they did the song. So now he has all these little fun facts about stupid gay songs that nobody listens to anymore.
So what they're doing now is they're going on his Metal Mania and they're going to Wikipedia and they give him the wiki facts about the songs. I mean, that's what it is now, Wikipedia for songs. And yeah, it is cringeworthy.
Monique nailed the perfect song, though, Dennis. Hum. Remember that?
Hum,
I think she missed the train to Mars. She's out there counting stars.
That's a classic what Howard would listen to kind of song.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it was played on K-Rock. They had the one-hit wonder. You'd hear it 60 times a day after his show would end.
Yes.
He'd have it on, and he's trying to attach himself. He thought they'd be the next biggest thing.
Never listened to Bruce Springsteen. Never listened to like hard rock. Never.
He never listened. In the 90s, he never listened to an ounce of grunge. Now he's like the biggest grunge fan ever. It's 30 years past its prime, but he's now a fan of it.
You can have hours of footage of him bashing Eddie Vedder. And
he literally thinks he made Foo Fighters. Like, he made them.
Yeah, he thinks...
He put them on the map.
Wait, I remember the show. This is such a little thing, but I remember the show the day they found out that Lane Staley had died from Alice in Chains. Howard couldn't even be bothered by it, and I'm going, "Wow, you
they were
really
on the
are a
soundtrack.
poser."
They were on
the
soundtrack
soundtrack for singles, and they actually had
were. I was a huge fucking Alice in Chains fan. How could you not be? Howard.
Don't you remember he referred to Chris Cornell as that guy from that band?
That guy, that guy from Pearl Jam. The guy from
Pearl Jam.
Jeremy Spoke.
Soundgarden.
Jeremy Spoke.
Jeremy Spoke.
I mean, he's a poser's poser. I mean, he really is.
Yes, he knows nothing about music. Nothing.
No, he is nothing.
But this is what Gary has suppressed inside of him that he could spit out at any moment if you touch the right nerve. Gary could eviscerate him anytime he wants, and he just chooses not to.
I love that the video is not in real time, but what you'll notice is that when Gary does talk to Howard in a disparaging way, he kind of darts his eyes away. Like he can't really confront Howard. Like, he'll do it.
No.
But he'll kind of look away, like he'll just kind of turn to the side a little bit because he doesn't want boss's ire. I mean, he's always been a whipping boy. It's just so pathetically pussy-like. It's just delicious. I love it.
Listen to Pearl Jam.
But that's not true, because not only did I go to see Pearl Jam, I went to see Stone Temple Pilots and Nirvana, and I like all those. No, I like those bands.
It's a projection thing. The only reason you would think that of me is because that's you.
Yeah, that's right.
Where else would you get the idea?
From looking at you. He was this nerdy guy.
Nerdy?
32, 33, 34 years old.
Why was I nerdy?
Look at that press photo from NBC.
You think that's a lot better looking than you are?
It's not about me.
Wow.
Wait a second. Hold on. Don't put it on me. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about who you were and who you are now.
No.
I'm sorry. Can we just look at his other press photos back there?
Wow.
Like,
Those
is his
those are gruesome.
This is photo. I bought that album for Benjamin one year for Christmas that I
Jesus.
found on eBay.
That's very thoughtful of you. That's a very, very thoughtful. And Howard would throw it right in the garbage with Dr. Drew's Mad Magazine.
No, you put it in a shredder.
You know what I almost did this morning? I almost literally stepped on an earthworm so that I could videotape it. and send it off on my Instagram and tag him in it. Because the fact that he did an Instagram with Beth about saving an earthworm
Oh my God.
was just mind-boggling to me. This insolence shall not go unpunished.
Long hair. I cut my hair to get a job in radio, and then when I saw that it didn't matter anymore to have short hair, I grew my hair back again.
So the whole time, right from DC 101
No.
up to
Right.
DC,
That's exactly
and
it.
you never decided
And
to
I questioned
change?
it after a while, and I said, why am I doing
Why
this?
is he doing it? He said to himself, and he let his
Bullshit.
hair grow
Shut
again.
up,
Okay. You're so
Oh,
bizarre.
but no, no. Wow.
So bizarre.
And look who's talking. Who doesn't do everything I do?
I don't. Then why is my hair short? Who had earrings way before you?
Because now you got old.
You did. You're talking about yourself.
I'm not.
Wow.
I have a theory about Gary I was thinking about today. And this goes for Artie. I don't think Gary likes any of the content on this show. Certainly the current show. I think I think that I have a clip I just found of a caller calls in on the wrap-up show, and he and Artie are there, and he basically says, do you guys hate Howard's so gay? How do you work on this show? The stuff he likes is not the stuff you like. And I just know Gary hates 90% of the content on the show. He doesn't like it. It's just a great job. And he has access to tickets and stuff.
But
And
there's such delicious
swagabooey.
sycophants that they will like everything he likes. They will
I know.
watch The Bachelor because
He
he
pretends
watches it.
sometimes,
No, no,
Monique.
no, no.
Very
You
nice.
don't
They will
have to.
stay home because he stays home. I mean, they're idiots.
No.
They're all germaphobes now. They won't touch. Right.
No, all you got to do is tell the king that his new clothes look good. You don't have
Well,
to
that's-
actually
Yeah,
walk
it
the
is the
walk.
Emperor's New Clothes. You're exactly right. I agree.
I mean, so Gary just likes that he gets a decent paycheck for not having to do any type of real work. I mean, seriously.
But he never
Nice,
has had to do.
nice Gina Bobonics here. Was this the last time Gary went in on him?
Probably
I'm
not.
sure he had his job.
I think
for
there's
it.
been other times. One
Little,
that
little.
we played on
Here
Gary
and there.
Part 1.
Yeah.
Was this K-Rock years? No.
Yes.
That was K-Rock, right?
Yeah, it was in 1994 or 5.
Okay,
Billy West
so
is still there.
When Howard came out and said you cheat on your wife, that was in the serious years, and Gary ripped into him at that point.
Amazing
because he was
clip.
so upset about it.
Yeah.
I think that Gary was neutered right at the Pelican Brief time, where Marcy came in. You know, he had to give up his office for her, and that she was now the boss. And I think that's when he just decided he's here for the paycheck. He will do whatever boss says, and that's it. You know, there'll be no more fighting.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, that's pretty much when it ended.
And
Tiger Lily
everything
is-
is scripted. So
Yeah.
there's
you go.
that.
Tiger Lily is a great cocktail of what Howard really is, and certainly at that point, he took Dee Snider's persona and pretended to love Rob Zombie's music. Yeah, that's really all he is.
He
Basically,
I mean, if you really just total going down the path here, but I mean, he basically Dee Snider dressed him, and showed him what type of wigs to wear to look rock, and you went from looking like that nerd when he first started at K-Rock to looking like you see him in that clip, that whole the whole rock persona. I mean, that was 100% Dee Snider. 100% Dee Snider.
Boy, Fudsicle just had a brilliant line, which should have been said before, but for some reason, the Emperor's New Scarves. That could be a podcast name and a half. That is so good.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Emperor's New Scarves.
I like it. All right, so we are queued up. Hold on, let me see what David has to say. Gary called Howard a wimp after some JFK conspiracy theorist left the studio, and Howard didn't give the guy a hard time. Yeah, you know what? There's times where Howard, and listen, Gary's been there for long enough that, by the time he was empowered to actually talk back to Howard, especially during the early serious years, he was already making like a shit ton of money.
Yep.
But then the fear was, again, he's still intern Gary. He's still boy Gary. Yep. He has always maintained the fear of losing his job. And so he's going to do whatever he needs to do to toe the party line, like they all do. Honestly, like they all do.
Absolutely.
Well, until he became a Buckwall client, and then Howard every 5 years or every whatever years would say, I don't think I'm going to resign. I'm out of here. And so that would scare the shit out of them back then.
He probably wouldn't tell them until maybe like the Christmas party,
Yes.
Yeah,
he'd
he's
probably
such a
leave
prick
them
to do
hanging
that.
until it was, it's like, okay, you guys are safe for another 5 years. Some of you, at least.
Can I quickly shout out over here Pablo Papano.
Pablo
Just a little
Papano.
callback. He gave us a little intel here. This is good stuff. He writes, Isaac, who is with Howard TV, and I think it's related to Wig, wrote Gary's Ebonics script for D.L. Hughley. He was a white rapper who judged the right rapping contest the Stern Show had. Oh, thank you very much, Pablo.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
See,
There you go.
know.
Yo-ho.
Yeah, there's no way Jackie
Yeah,
would know
that's
that
the-
kind of lingo.
Yeah.
Well, you could always do research.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie knows Billy jokes.
There
from, like,
you go.
You know, there you go. Gary really wanted to go nuclear, but restrained himself when that porn star shot off in his face
That was
during
Buck
the
Wild.
segment with the
Oh,
sex
that was
machines.
vile.
That was vile.
That was Buck Wild, and that was just disgusting.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That was disgusting. Renaissance Wing says could have been fake, but I love Sour Shoes' call when he talked to Michael Rappaport acting like Gary. Yeah, any Sour Shoes Gary call is genius. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know that we include that in this.
We did it on the
particular
first one.
podcast, but yeah, because Sour Shoes is a better Gary. Is a better version of Gary. He's a funnier version of Gary. All right, so we have queued up our next
I want to go dark. We're
video.
going to go dark for about 3 weeks.
Who's going to talk to this?
Wait, what's the title?
Sal.
Sal?
That's all.
The first time
Just-
Sal
This
was
is
on.
this is
Yeah.
Sal's like origins. This is Sal
Yep.
coming in. Sal's whole thing. Sal was completely synonymous with just harassing Gary. So he came in. This is the first time he was live in studio, and he came in full stockbroker mode. I think the original Sal acrimony towards Gary was that they wouldn't book the Beastie Boys on the show, and Sal was a original wigger,
Right.
and that just caused him to. Now he's in studio, and
He's still a stockbroker, though, so
Yes.
he's
Yeah,
just
still-
there as
yes.
a guest. Okay, I'm going to pull this up for us.
You seem like a young guy.
26.
26? And what is...
By the way, we all really just, I'm going to go back to it, just, you know, since we're almost 2 hours in, that Bon Jovial and John did a yeoman's job with pulling this together. Bon Jovial, you know, made these video clips so that they were usable for us. So
All good.
I noticed that, you know, Bon Jovial has access to my YouTube channel. So if you ever see something that says, and with special thanks to Bon Jovial for being the best.
he does that. I didn't even know
Yes,
that.
he does that. He types it in the comments.
Everything.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, I'm gonna have a
That's
chat
so
with
funny.
you after the show,
that made me.
sweetheart.
Did I delete
that's
it?
hilarious.
Did I delete it? No, I do not. Because you know what? It's all true. It just made me laugh so hard when I first
More
saw
under
it.
the bus than Ralph Cramden.
Absolutely, right under the goddamn bus. All right, here we go. Hang on.
Did you have like a fa-fa fooey fascination?
Well, look at him, of course. Look
at you.
Wow, look at those horse teeth and purse. Who are you being on this call? This phone call, I am a fake name named Steve Ryan from the New York Post.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Gary, please. Who's calling? Jim Stevens. What's this a reference to, Joe? From the New York Post. Hey. Hi, Gary. How you doing? Good. What can I do for you? I just wanted a quick quote from you. I can't really get into this right now because we're on the air. Try calling back after the show. Okay. Who should I ask for? Ask for Gary. You know what? Let me give you my extension here. Okay. Just when you ask for me, just tell the secretary that you're a horse-toothed jackass.
Oh, man. Now, what's your second call?
My second call, I was a juror on the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh, good. Okay.
This was back-to-back with the Steve Ryan phone call.
Excellent. This is on the same day, right afterward.
Right after.
My name's Frank Delgado. I was on the O.J. Simpson trial. I was a juror, and I was removed from the jury. When were you removed? I was actually the second individual removed because I was accused of calling O.J. Simpson a horse-toothed jackass. Yes, Gary? This is in reference to? This is Ron Gant. This is in reference to? I'm with the Reds. What about it? The Cincinnati Reds. I'm with the Reds. Uh-huh. And who's the manager of the Reds? HTJ. Who's that? Horse-toothed jackass.
Look at those right into
HTJ.
A friend of mine
Look
says, say you Cliff Bernstein from Q.
Look at those teeth. Can we just?
HTJ.
A friend of mine says, say you Cliff
Wait,
Bernstein from Q.
Just enough.
Wow. Oh! Jesus.
Look at
Wow,
those
we
teeth.
paused it there. Wow.
That's where we went.
God
Look
damn.
at that. The gums.
We may get a strike from YouTube on this. That's pretty bad.
These are like the chiclets that little Mexican kids sell to you when you go off the cruise ship.
Where's Dr. Bob Ostrowski when you need him for those? He's on house
Just
arrest.
push him right in. Just push
Yep.
him
Push him right in. My God.
Look at two masks.
A friend of mine says, say you're Cliff Bernstein from Q Prime Management. Gary knows him personally, I'm sure.
Right.
So I made like I was booking Metallica on Letterman. And I figured I'd get him in on the morning for the show.
Great.
Hey, Metallica. Yeah, April 15th. They're in town? Yep. What are they doing? Letterman. No kidding. Yep. And they want to come on? Yep. Well, that's great. I mean, what can we do it or what? Yeah, absolutely. April 15th? Yep. Listen, we have a song parody too on the show. Wait a second. What's your partner's name? It's called.
I'm assuming his partner's name was Horsetooth Jackass.
Horsetooth Jackass?
Yes, of course. Of course it was.
I called the Stern Show one time and said it was Mark Price from the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I wanted to tell Howard I was a big fan because I knew no one would know who he was, and they're putting me through this litany of questions, just like that, just a drilling of. I got everything right. They don't even know. I could have said anything. They know nothing about it.
But how is it now? There's no way that there's not like 5 levels before you can get to Gary, like it was back then.
No, you can't. There's all their phone system. Like Gat Girl and I said, our numbers are all on the list.
Yeah.
So the do not
the
call
red flag
list.
Yeah,
the DNC list. Oh, we are actually going into the.
And this is classic sizzle chest.
All right, so we're actually going to do the Gary I'm sorry clip.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah! Everybody knows this. This is so much
mental
derived from this.
Oh, Jesus!
You know, this clip
is a pucker.
just epitomizes who Gary is.
Yeah. That doesn't it?
It's just
doesn't it? Pussy fog, pussy fogabooey in the late '80s.
Fogabooey, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trying to use the show. That the only way he's getting laid is being on this show, and this is him just trying to hit everything that moves.
But he did.
I know.
He did.
That was
right.
According to a lot of people from the show, Gary was like the big time player.
But I mean anything that moves.
Yes, he banged a lot of chicks. They all
like
did.
Dodie Fields. And
there is nobody. Dodie Fields, exactly. But there's nobody that would approach them when they were all single that they wouldn't bang.
That's right.
Well,
not a single one.
Maybe, and even when he's married, allegedly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he got paid nearly $22,000 to show this video in the studio.
Oh,
yep.
right.
So
that's right. They paid
that's a
him.
lot of money
that's
back
right.
then.
That's all they paid him too.
Let's ask everybody in the chat. Would you do that for $22,000? Would you release a video?
What year is it?
99. Oh, what year is he in? Or what year is the show?
So $22,000.
Still not a lot of. You can barely buy it. You can buy a decent car.
The year they played it on the Stern Show. So, John, what year would that have been?
The year they played it is 99. Everything's with Gary. That Sour Shoe stuff. It is insane how often 9 comes up in everything he does. So this is 99.
So 22,000 in 1999. That's got to be good money.
It's okay money.
It is. The value of $22,000.
Monique's doing the conversion.
Well, how much do you think Gary would...
$36,223 today.
Wow, look at Melvin.
So they paid him $36,000. Nice.
I'm surprised we didn't have the adding machine. Where was the adding machine?
Yeah.
The sound effect.
Oh, I'd love to. I wish I had something.
Monique, I want to make an Upper West Side 6 degrees of Casey Armstrong here.
Yeah.
I believe, I could be slightly off.
I believe
Casey took over Gary's apartment, which is that, and I believe it was also in the same building as Seinfeld's original apartment from the actual, West 81st Street, what they claim in the sitcom.
Random thought, but okay.
Yeah, but where Gary's filming that from, I believe Casey Armstrong eventually took over that apartment.
All I know is that the apartment that Stuttering John had originally bought with his wife when they first were married and they had the kids was like a tremendous apartment, and he made such a good return on that investment when he finally left the show to go to Leno that it almost paid for his house in Calabasas.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he had a beautiful apartment, like ridiculous.
And he's parlayed that so far.
You see Tiger Lily, stand-up Tiger Lily?
Casey should take over.
Oh, my God.
Am I right, ladies? Am I right, ladies?
I don't know. My little Casey mentioned Tiger Lily the other day. And
Did you really?
Oh.
Okay, so now is this the whole apology? Like, what are we listening to?
No, it's the good part. It's a good part.
This is edited. I've edited the fuck out of it.
I edited the shit out of it, too.
long.
I gave you an edited version.
Isn't it like 12 minutes long
Yeah,
originally?
but you know what the funny thing is? John editing something makes it like 12 minutes and 15 seconds. And
They're all like my
editing it makes it like 2 minutes long.
My clips are all my kids to me. You know, God, Fudsicle is all over this. Fudsicle's doing screenshots. She's sending them.
Oh, hold on, no, I'm gonna take a screenshot of it.
And John, is John wearing sweatpants?
They did a lot.
They look like
Dennis.
Jesus Christ!
I'm not sure.
Homeless. He literally looks homeless.
He's wearing
I gotta take a picture of it.
green odd lot sweatpants.
It's art imitating life almost now. It's almost homeless.
Is this the Fisher King?
The Fisher King. Wow, good reference.
Wow, that was good. All right, you got it? Here we go.
But 7 months after the dumping.
Hello. Guess what? Had a lot of things I wanted to say to you, which I think I should be saying to you in person, but getting an audience with you seems to be difficult. I could have wrote to you in a letter.
Sorry. Hold on. So I wrote to Grillo asking him, what did Smelly James die of?
Okay.
Okay, he answers, ready? He died?
Oh my God.
Second part, ready? Second part. Who's Smelly James?
Oh my God, he worked right directly with him. Monique, he called in and reported another time. I couldn't find the clip. How does he not? What is he on hallucinogens? I'm serious.
Listen, it's 10 o'clock at night. That could very
All right.
Does he have his card? I mean,
holy shit! Tell him he's in his rollerblades.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was so funny.
Holy shit.
He died?
Okay, let us continue. He died?
Angry at us. You were the guy cheating. Yeah.
Yeah, she should talk to me.
I think you need to hear my voice, and I think you need to see me.
Oh, they brought people in?
This is why she didn't call.
Those guys paid.
My hair's a lot longer, but I just came in out of the rain.
What a douchebag you are. You're an imbecile.
Gorillas in the mist.
Gorillas in the mist.
The thing that kind of prompted this whole thing. Last Friday night, I felt like the biggest idiot in the history of the world.
So what happened? She was at a party?
She was at my friend Frank's house, right?
And she didn't want to see
Frank, it's always
right.
Frank.
So when we got there, my friend Frank saw that her car was still there. So he said, "I have to go up. You wait in the car." I wasn't trying to see her. She happened to be there when we were getting there. Just wait in the car.
So I would have been nice to you. I would have said hello. What can I say? So I got to tell you, I was really hurt by that.
At some point, like a year later, she did go out with me again.
She did?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this 7 months later? Why didn't you do this like the first month?
Yeah, and if you're speaking to her on the phone, why don't you just say this to her on the phone?
Look at the gaggle of gindaloons that they bring in to watch this fucking video.
Well, obviously, I want to go back out with you again.
That's Dennis's social.
I want a commitment. I want to be a commitment. I don't want to have a commitment.
You got a driveway to hose down.
I want you to be my girlfriend. I'd dump everybody I was going out with in a second if you said you'd go back with me. I want to do a lot of the things that we said we were going to do and never got to do.
Fix my teeth.
Wow. I've been saying I've been marriage minded for a really long time. I mean, you know how I feel about that. But I would like to think somewhere off in the distant future would be, the possibility of. I don't want to be running around anymore. I do want to get married. And yeah, I could see myself marrying you. Especially if you were interested in marrying me back. But
You're making me feel like I got a vagina!
Wait a minute.
I miss you.
That's such a great line.
I won't even try to hide that. None of the relationships have worked because of you. And
wow.
That Casey reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a real.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
I miss you, man.
I lost my lover, and I lost my best friend.
Delicious.
Oh, it's so. Oh my God.
I remember this. I remember the day this was on.
You lost your lover, and you lost your best friend. Okay, so that part's pretty even. But you gained a lover, and you gained a best friend. I gained a couple of lovers, or I gained one lover, but I gained no friends. I have no. I have
Isn't
no
that
friends.
bit absolutely bizarre?
He stopped himself.
You
I can't say I have
gained
no
one,
friends.
I lost one. You gained. I've lost. It's
This is
fucking
the
makes
mentality
no
of a
sense at all.
Delphi graduate. Like seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
seriously.
like retarded.
This is really low IQ.
Yeah. Yeah, he graduated from 15th
Like right now,
grade.
I feel my professional life is like at a 9.
Nine.
My personal life is at
That's
like a
the
2.
origin of knowing.
His professional life's at a 9?
What year was that?
I think that's when I said, you know, Gary, you don't have to get me the coffee. Let John get it.
Those that I promised we do and never did because I was afraid of the big C word, the commitment.
He's trying to be cute.
And I'm not begging
Think
now.
about it, man.
I'm a little big and tight.
Too macho.
But I'm as close to begging as you can get.
Was that the baby talk?
Yeah.
A little big and tight.
Little baby talk?
What did he say?
I'm not the biggest type. I'm not the biggest type. No, I'm not the biggest type.
I really want you to think about this whole tape. And the great thing about videotape is you can rewind it.
Oh, I love that. Who then decided
Wow.
that the way he says "noin" was a thing? Like,
Pretty
who
much
did
Sour
that
Shoes.
first? Do we know?
Pretty much
must have
Sour
been
Shoes.
Sour
I
Shoes.
think it was
You're probably
Sour
right.
Shoes. I think Sour Shoes picked that up. I don't remember.
And watch it all.
Bootsy,
Look,
eh?
Sour Shoes is obsessed with everything, all dialogue, Gary.
Yeah.
So this was just the thing everybody knew backward and forward. Even novices knew this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Noin.
I would
Gary,
have to say this and his pitch are the two things that Gary, and the Baba Booey thing, obviously, are the three things
Yeah.
that Gary is known for, like historically. That's
Christina
his.
Brown, activist.
That's his fame.
White privilege.
What is she saying?
With white privilege.
I love that she's an activist now. It's so
Well, you know,
delicious
seven-
to me.
7 to
Whoever
10,
you
you
are,
know.
I love you to death. This is just
We'll never
the
know.
most delicious thing in the world that she's activist now. Oh my god, I love that. All right, so what else do we have scheduled for tonight? I'm so excited
there's
that
some
we're
more. I
actually
think there's
getting
still more.
groupings like in such a nice
Oh,
way
there's
here.
more.
We are at one of the most insane, and that is Elliot Offen versus
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gary.
Okay, so this is a video, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, you want
this
to
is-
talk? This
This is
package?
during a lot of people. This was during the They had remember they did football pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Elliot claims they owed him money, and
Yep.
then he puts it on Gary, and then Gary goes into a whole thing about his history, and it's a really just crazy argument. And they use drops from this fight all the time. A lot of people don't know where they came from. And this
Hairbrush.
is the hairbrush
Yeah.
up the
Yeah,
ass,
hairbrush
and
reference,
yeah,
yeah.
a lot of shit out of it.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
To make.
What is it?
It looks like Elliot is no longer in the contest. His big argument was,
By the
why-
way, Gary wore that exact same outfit pretty much every fucking day.
Yep.
Wow,
Did a
very
closet
monkey
full of
looking
them.
right this moment, just so you know, in the
It's just,
pause.
you know what? That's the official Gindaloon trip to AC clothing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Swagabooey and Adidas.
There's a crazy Alice get 19 minutes, and why is he being limited?
Because she's
and I
not
explained,
plugging.
She's not plugging, and she's entertaining.
Right.
And I said, when you're plugging, you're not entertaining, and that made him go crazy. How he's the biggest fucking guest on the show for 9 years. Fuck you. So I kept calling him, and he kept hanging up on me. And I said, Elliot, if you can't do this, I'm going to have to say that you're not in the contest anymore. And he said, fuck you, I don't need your money, and he hung up.
Wow.
I'm not in the habit of, saying things I don't do. Remember, I'm in girls' G-string lingerie in front of the fucking world, so I'm going to do whatever I want. I went through the whole fucking world, right, to get what I want, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. Dell'Abate's trying to fucking rip me off for my 25 dimes, telling me he doesn't want to honor my promotion, my regular size promotion,
That's
right?
not what he said. He said you don't let anybody talk, Elliot.
Let me go first. Give me my full promotion and my football pick every week. Otherwise, I take Dell'Abate's fucking ass into court today with a summons and
Take him into court all you want. Who cares?
Get a lawyer and defend yourself. Get a fucking lawyer and defend yourself. Get a fucking lawyer and defend yourself.
I have the conversation recorded, you fucking gay motherfucker.
Wow. You have it recorded?
I do. I record when I talk to Elliot because I'm aware of his insanity.
You can't take me to court because you'll be in jail in 6 weeks, you fucking prick. We gave you what we promised you.
Where you breathe. I fuck you where you breathe. I fuck you where you breathe, right? I fuck you.
Yeah, go take another hairbrush in your ass.
Right? I fuck you where you please, right?
Nobody offered you $25,000. We offered you the chance to win $25,000, which you're doing a horrendous job at.
Right, a fucking promotion, right? Right?
The promotion's 30 seconds.
Right?
He told you it was 30 seconds.
You're the fucking liar that goes to jail and gets a hairbrush in your ass.
I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, apparently, and you put it on film and sell it.
Just like I'll take your fucking eyes out, right?
Yeah.
I'll do whatever the fuck I want,
Put
right?
more war paint on and run around in high heels.
Just like I'll pull some fucking acid in your eyes if you get right up.
Acid.
All right. Well, thank
He's
you.
Batman. He's a real Batman villain.
Right?
I'm sure you can get a lawyer to represent you.
Marshall, right?
Good. This makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
Elliot, consider your appearance next week canceled, by the way.
Yeah.
He is the collective Arkham Asylum that Elliot often, right? He is just 10 Batman villains rolled into one.
He's actually quite frightening to look at in person.
Oh, you
Like
know,
Tiger
you
Lily
hung
was
with
saying,
him
I can't
twice,
believe
right?
You were in the
Yeah,
same
that's-
room as, I've met him several times now.
God.
He's
Wow.
actually scary to be around, like, because, you know, when he looks at you, you know, first off, he has all that makeup on that looks like, that looks like a Edward Munch kind of painting, you know, like the
Wow.
Nice reference.
What am I? Who am I? Edward Munch over here.
Brilliant.
Like his face is kind of melting, you know, because all that makeup looks like, you know, he's like some Halloween prom queen, you know, who dies at the end kind of look, and it's just like dripping off of his face, and he kind of looks at you with these incredibly dead eyes. I mean, just that I don't know if it's the like, you don't know if he's going to smile at you and then just do like some random ha 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 ha, or just listen to you and talk normally. Like, he can go either way at any moment, at any time during a conversation, and he's a little scary.
You're saying he's just a little unstable.
He's beyond unstable.
They call him stage deli eyes, Monique. Joe Corson
Oh, the
eyes.
stage delicatessen. Nice one, Johnny. Nice.
You know the way women get that really bad feeling when they leave a mall and you're like the last car that's in the lot.
Yeah, that is a creepy feeling.
You're holding
You're
your
right.
keys really
That
close
is
to you, and you have that really kind of sinking feeling in your stomach. That's how I feel every time I've been around him. Like that, I don't know.
You never warm up to him. It's just there's no
Never.
chance of ever warming up. It just
Never,
doesn't have that.
because he probably does belong in a home, a group home of some sort, medicated. I don't know if he is medicated or how he makes a living or how he has money, but he, you know, everybody on the Upper East Side knows him. Everybody. There is never a day where you see him running where there aren't like
Ramona Singer.
100 people. Elliot, yeah, often Elliot. Everybody knows who he is, and he loves that. And I think it's the only thing that gets him by at this point is that he's this guy who dresses in drag. You know, Grillo does call him she and her now because that's what the pronouns are that he chooses to be called now. And so whenever he talks about him, he'll be like, she said she wants to blah, 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 or she's doing blah, blah, blah. And sometimes I'm like, who are you talking about? Elliot? You know, and so it's just a weird thing.
I just have different. I have different nuts and crazy. That's yeah.
No, Fudgicle, I've never been alone with him. There's always been other people in the room. Oh my god, I would never do that.
God,
I would never
We're alone
do that.
now.
All right.
They're going. By the way, they're going crazy about Gary's reflex innate homophobia. Kylo Sierra Alpha, Gina Bobina, Tiger Lily, Chaka Cone, all of Katie Aldana.
That's the way the show was,
yeah,
though.
his reflex thing. He's got the gay brother, right, and is to just throw gay insults at Elliot. It's with the gay brother.
It's 2021, you big dummy, but all the girls know my reference.
About the mall, yes.
Shut up.
On your door, right?
Did you hear what I said? You're canceled.
Marshall, I don't give a fuck if you live or die. I don't fucking care if you live or die. I don't fucking care if you
See,
live
I actually care. I wish he would die.
Another case of West Moonbit. Another case of West Moonbit.
Hey, how many lawsuits have you been involved in the last year? You're the king of defrauding, right?
One way or the other, you're going to pay, right? Right? One way or the other.
Well, it's the other way, Elliot, because it ain't the one way, so fuck off.
Right? Show it to you in black and white. I'll show it to you. Open and shut, cut and dry. Airtight. Open and shut, cut
cut and dry, airtight. I don't give a fuck if you live or die.
It goes the same way back to you, asshole.
So when I see you, then tell me that to my kisser, so I pour some fucking acid in your eyes.
Say it again one more time, so I get a fucking restraining order against you, and you go in jail and get a hairbrush shoved in your ass by a big black guy.
Tell me that when you're in front of me, right? When you're in front of me, you're a fucking little girl, right? Little cunt when you're in front of me, right?
You have a great opportunity.
I always break Artie up.
You have a great...
This is the best bit.
How are you, Artie? I always break Artie up.
It's so insane. It's so insane. It's so insane.
Nick Hansen's right. You could see Howard's darting crazy eyes, bopping around. Really, Gary's a representative of Howard. Everything Gary does is Howard's command. He's actually that's his marching orders. It should be directed at Howard.
I think Elliot did scam his landlords for years. I don't
That
know.
surprises you how?
Yeah, no, exactly. Sorry, the thing is going by too fast. I couldn't get it up there.
Weekend at Ralphie's.
Weekend at Ralphie's.
Classic
nice.
Bobina.
Dead eyes, dripping face. It's true, though, you guys. Seriously.
That's too scary, man. No.
Grillo is absolutely an Elliot whisperer. Absolutely he is.
Very well said, bro.
Yeah, no, that's a perfect, that is perfectly said. Grillo knows how to handle him perfectly. It's kind of amazing. It's, yeah.
So he's like Fay Ray in King Kong.
Oh, my Fay Ray over here.
You alcoholics, I'm just a caveman, and your drinking frightens and confuses me.
Hey, Phil Hartman returns from death.
Wow.
Bond, beautiful.
Bond,
wow.
Really.
All right, we are now we're jumping forward to Shwoogie Buzzer.
Oh, Shwoogie
Now,
Buzzer.
I have something about the Shwoogie thing because this is in 2004. This clip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they had talked about this for years before that, though.
Yeah, but it's just to tell the story at all. Just find something where the story is told. They've brought it up at least 5 times. This is just one of the many times.
Yes.
This is really short too, so here we go.
Yeah, it's...
Gary worked at a store in Hempstead, Long Island. And when black people would come into shop, he'd have to hit a special buzzer. No. The guy up front would hit the buzzer.
Gary would be the person who came out because the buzzer was right.
I was security. Right. Oh, you had to follow the black people around. 15 years old. And he called it the Shwoogie buzzer? No, you got called it that. He didn't say that.
They made that up. I love it. What is this Shwoogie?
Okay.
Is that a word?
It's a really bad euphemism for it.
It is a very bad... Okay, Shwoogie is short for Schwarze, which is what a lot of Jewish people would call...
It's Yiddish.
Black people.
For black.
Kind of like Italian peoples would say moulignon, which was eggplant, and that was also a perfect Italian nomenclature for a black person.
Yeah,
so
but the
Schwarze,
Jews think Schwarz is more acceptable. They act like they're supposed to.
It's really not. It's actually
it's the N-word. I know. I agree with you.
No, it's Schwarz.
No,
it's not the N-word.
Schwarze just means black.
But
like
it's just
Arnold
as bad.
Schwarzenegger.
The intent is just as bad.
Schwarzenegger is a name. You know what I mean? So Schwarze, it just means black. And so Shwoogie was just a nickname for...
It's just kind of the cutesy way to say it.
Yeah.
Didn't Jackie call it that? Because this was brought up like when Jackie was still on the show.
Could very well be that.
I think
sounds like
the Shwoogie bud.
Sounds like Bayville Fire Department speak.
I don't remember it as a child. Like Shwoogie was not a word that we ever used, so it must come from the Stern Show. Like somebody must have come up with that as like a silly version of saying the word Schwarze, which could only have come from Howard. Because, being the only Jewish guy on the show. But buzz means there's one Shwoogie. 2 buzzes means 2, but 3 buzzes means the city's going to burn down.
Burn down. Christina Brown.
Stop quote Christina Brown.
Right. He goes, there's a lot of trouble in this area. People come and go through the store all the time.
Socioeconomic. That's so funny. Christina Brown, activist. That is really clever. That is such a... We're not worthy of that joke. This deserves all the laughing it's got. Oh my God.
Look at the screen. I laugh again. Socioeconomically deprived community buzzer.
We are not worthy of that joke.
Blah, blah,
That is
blah,
so
blah,
good.
blah, blah.
Wow.
Good night, Bella Stern.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Blah, blah, blah.
Can someone say that line for me? Socio-economic. Can someone say that so I can
I'll
make
do it
some
as
drops
Mr.
out of it?
Mr. Feeney.
Just-
In this class, we encourage socioeconomically deprived community buzzers.
Perfect. Dennis, do you want to read that out so I can make
Line
a
of the
drop
night,
out of
by
that?
the way.
Socio-economical. Just read that for me, Dennis.
Sure. Economically deprived community buzzer.
That's what the
Can you
Shwiggy
say
button is.
economically once more, just for me?
Economically.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Oh,
Look, we should be doing this off air, of course.
Bond would only use this for evil. That's all.
Of course, I don't care.
He will only use this for evil.
There's some people out here that I think need to have an eye kept on them. Right. When I buzz twice, it means there's a lot of people out here that need an eye on. And when if I buzz 3 times, it means call the police. And it just so happened that in the whole summer I worked there, out of the 12 times he buzzed, it was never a white person.
If a black person walked in, the buzzer went off.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly it.
Would you call that racial profiling?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
One time he came up to me and he goes, those people over there, just keep an eye on them. I want you to follow them as they walk through the store. But of course, again, they were black. Right. So I'm like trailing behind. What am I going to do? I'm only 14 or 15 years old. And the guy obviously saw I was following him, and he threatened to beat the crap out of me.
Melvin says, I acknowledge how my original reasoning was flawed, that it existed as an example of white privilege and unjust allowances made within a system of societal white supremacy, and that in me wearing Adidas tracksuits daily, I was engaging in an act of erasure.
He's trying to pedantic one-up him.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
academia.
Oh, God, I'm crying. This is just so delicious. I love every
What a great
moment of
chat.
this.
The
chat is always amazing. There's nothing better than our chats.
Well,
Honestly,
well,
there's
the
nothing
chat,
better.
the chat are going to get really annoyed now because we're going to watch Gary wrestle fucking Benji.
Oh,
John,
you got that in
tell
there.
us about it.
Oh, we actually do have
What
this,
year is
don't we?
this?
Night was it 01?
Not sure.
2001? Did I put a year on it?
No, but Benji looks fat as fuck.
Yeah, it's like 2001. You know, they're obsessed with weighing. There was constant weigh-ins. Mr. fucking anorexia, just hoping everyone's fatter than him,
Yeah,
and
that's
fat shaming. So it's a
yeah.
constant weigh-in, like every other week. And apparently they did one here, and this thing comes up where Benji claims he wrestled in high school, and Gary did wrestle at Uniondale, and they have a Greco-Roman style wrestling. I think Casey Armstrong referees it, as he should, as one should, as Port Jefferson middleweight champion of Long Island.
Is there a story about when the Shwiggy punked Gary and challenged him to fight?
The Shwiggy?
No, we did that in part 1. That was when Gary screamed the N-word at a lunch table in ninth grade.
Noink.
Everything's ninth.
It's always not. I'm telling you, it's always
It's always
annoying.
9.
I agree. I'm heavy, but
there's no
but. I could
Oh,
take on
Jackie's
anyone
still
here
here, so it's
and beat
probably
them.
99.
And
are you gonna fight people?
No. I'm just saying. You're saying what's in shape and everything.
You know what? I think I could beat you in wrestling.
Huh?
Gary will whip your
I didn't
ass.
say case. I'd
I
take
think
you
I
on.
could beat you. I mean, he's much heavier than me.
Gary, you'd beat him. Gary's a good wrestler.
Oh, man, let's see that.
All right, go ahead. You two guys fight right now.
Let's see that. Look at John.
All right,
Always
Benji's
provoking.
ready to fight you.
Look at Benji. Benji's like
Look
a
at him.
hand
Hey, Gary,
Greco retard wrestling.
let me go through on a t-shirt.
Greco-Roman, yeah.
Gary, he might have a lot of anger saved up, man.
I gotta go. I mean, I think I can. I haven't wrestled in a bunch of years, but I don't think Benji knows any moves.
Right.
Who said Greco retard
Benji's no
wrestling?
athlete.
But he outweighs me by about
He thinks
65
he's just going to
pounds.
use his weight.
He thinks he's gonna sit on you. Benji's in his
I don't know. I think
God.
Jackie or someone yelled at him back.
I say Gary will pin you.
Was it John?
Oh, is it over? What
No, I
happened?
just
No,
paused
no.
it because John was
Awesome.
talking.
Oh.
Sarah.
Sarah?
You mark. Let that go. Oh.
Somebody's gonna get killed.
Look at Benji.
Oh, be quiet, Jackie.
Benji's gonna have a heart attack. All right, Benji's pinned. All right, stop.
Benji has his whole asshole hanging out by the end of this.
You're down. Benji, your eyes are all red. You look like.
Who
There we
wouldn't
go.
kill for that Hank the Angry Dwarf in a bunny?
Oh my God!
Oh, man.
I
Where'd that go?
I would have that with pride.
Wait a second. I think that actually Richie Wilson has that.
No shit.
If
I
I'm
thought
not mistaken.
I thought Les Moonves had it.
I'm
Les
almost
Moonves.
positive that Richie has the bunny costume. Oh my God, I know this for a fact, actually.
Oh Christ!
I think I saw
I
it
could
on
see that.
his, hold on, I would pay
Bet
to
you he
see
does.
that right now.
That's a logical guy to have it. I could see that.
Richie, hold on.
Fudgesicle Special Olympics fantasy camp.
There you go.
There
you go. And that's the rest of the story.
You
G Canada writes, "What are the chances old Howie got hard over this?" Yeah,
Oh, God,
I think he did a lot of things to get these guys' shirts off, and as you know,
Well,
he does now.
Benji's whole asshole's hanging out.
I know.
I just need to see that. I think he does have it. Okay, what are we up to?
We are hitting repeat after me, Mary.
Oh, Monique
Abuse.
loves this. Yeah, I got this from Monique. I didn't plan on it until I realized this is her personal request.
I hate
Okay.
this so much, and this is so
Good.
emblematic of what a pussy he is that it's delicious. No, he's not changing his numbers.
You watching the show?
You big dummy.
At about the 2-hour, 24-minute, and 56-second mark, you can see Benji Brank's nipplage.
Thank you.
Did you watch any shows last night? No, I didn't actually. I was babysitting for my child, but I know that's.
You know what you do? You tell your wife, you got a goddamn job.
You know
all right? And you tell your wife,
Yeah.
if she wants to make a
I
living.
don't smack my wife around the way you do.
No. I don't physically smack
We have
my
a
wife.
relationship.
You have a relationship?
dictatorship.
Well, let me tell you something. If you had a real job, all right, with a real
This
boss.
is a real job, Howard.
Your wife would sit at home alone till you got home at 9 or 10
I put
o'clock.
in more hours on this job
Not
than you'll
saying
ever
no,
know.
but when you don't shake in your pants enough, when you
Howard,
know
all
that
I do
I
is shake in
trust
my
you
pants
with the
about you.
Tiny Tim funeral, the baby is going to have to be watched by your wife, like most guys who have real jobs.
Jesus.
That's how life works.
What was his wife doing that was so important?
Oh, yeah.
Saving the world?
Yeah, I don't beat my wife like you do, boss. No, I do my job, okay?
I mean, his wife had to be let go because she was in negotiations with the Israelis and the
Yes,
Wow,
yeah,
wait a minute.
President
So-
Clinton just got...
Let us see you next Tuesday, Blobbin is. Good
Yeah.
Lord, a woman that's never had a real relationship in her entire life.
No,
That's right, Dennis.
Absolutely just ripping on Mary for having the father watch the baby. I mean,
I'm on a respirator.
wow.
Raised like veal.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
Letterman.
Pretty much the story,
Letterman,
isn't it?
Part of my motivation with that clip was not just to do the repeat app, but it was a great fight about the wives. So Gary takes a shot at his treatment of Allison, and it seemed very genuine. And he's doing that same reductive things towards Mary. So there's a lot more in here than just
There's
the
more.
repeat after me. I know.
Yeah, go for
There's
it. Go for it.
more. Here we go.
with the Israelis and the
Yes, yeah. President Clinton just got Mary Dell'Abate to negotiate. What was your wife doing that was so important that you had to watch Jackson?
Wait a second. You're
Since I beat my wife. Let me tell you something about my wife. My wife's a goddamn saint. She understands
That
that
I believe.
in order for me to have made it in show business, I needed to concentrate on my career almost 24 hours a day. And my wife turned to me, she said, I'm going to pump out the babies and take care of them.
This story is
Pump
so
out the
pathetic.
babies.
It's so pathetic. He's such a lying asshole with this.
You go ahead and
They're
conquer
such
the world.
misogynists.
More
It's
time
like
to this
amazing.
show.
Yes. Fuck. Although I did like this a while years ago, I did like it when he would do this, you know.
Totally different mindset we were in back then.
Yeah.
Where we had, but he has help for every facet of his life. That veal doesn't have to lift a goddamn chop to do anything. His whole day is all. That's how you watch 12 hours of TV a day.
This is
Wow.
how
That's
you
right.
roll down to your basement and complain about how tired you are to have to work today.
Oh, and what about Xavier's picture? Not the basement, that's the bowling alley.
His
Now,
Zapruder-
could you pull
his
that
Zapruder
picture up
photos.
soon,
Hey.
because that was fucking brilliant.
That tile matches exactly to the
But then,
tile. that are on the
but
floor.
then we took it a step further, and I found the May show, and he was in Florida, and it had the
Yes.
Florida floor.
That's right, the Florida floor with the
Match
rug
the
on it and the
basement.
gray slab. Yeah.
Devote more time to this show.
I'm not saying no. Yeah, repeat after
started
me,
this at
Gary.
6:10.
Gary, repeat after me.
Kiss
after me.
my ass.
I will not
That
decide.
repeat that.
I will not decide.
Go get Fred in the pocket.
I will not
It
decide.
ain't happening.
I will not decide.
I love Poland Spring. No, I'm not to repeat that stupid.
I will not decide. This row. Repeat after me. I will not
He's such a
decide.
pussy.
I will not decide. I will not decide.
I will not decide.
Nothing.
Nothing.
My Wolf will do the deciding.
My wolf will do the deciding.
I will follow instructions
I will follow instructions
to the letter.
to the letter.
I know all 26 letters.
I know all 26 letters.
No, seriously, it's whether you know it or not. It's a compliment that I want you to watch something.
But Howard, he can sort of pre-screen stuff for me and cut out the fat. In other words, I went over it again.
The fat sometimes is the funny stuff. Okay, repeat after me. The fat is sometimes the best stuff.
I'll say that. The fat is sometimes the best stuff.
Such a
There you
dick.
go. Now you learned something.
Such a pussy.
Yeah.
Goodness.
God, I hate him.
Wow.
Wow.
We're speechless. We're
I know.
Well, no, I was looking at Tiger Lily has a good point. Like this femininity, this homage to feminine. How canceled would this current show get today? Flying this and having this conversation. Have this conversation today.
Bad. Yeah, it'd be done.
It wouldn't
They'd be
happen.
Deep
It wouldn't
shit.
happen.
But at least it'd be interesting.
Did you see what Wesley Ballard said? Ronnie was the one who came up with the Schwiggy buzzer. Yes.
Ah.
Yes.
Really?
It's coming. Yes.
I remember Ronnie calling King of All Blacks a boogie. You remember that?
No.
And I had not. It was like a Whitestone Queens term with
It's
the
gotta
fucking
be.
hitters. He called them a boogie. Is that an actual
I've
black
I've
slang
never heard that.
euphemism? I swear to
I've
God.
never heard that one.
That's local nomenclature.
Yeah,
to you.
I'll put the clip up. I'll show make a video out of it.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Second last clip.
Oh
And
my
then we're
God!
done.
Seriously?
Wow.
Impossible.
Look at us.
I won't be doing this till I have to wake
listen,
up.
This is good.
This is good.
2 hours and 30.
And
All
we're
right,
getting
so
to
this
a
is
real
Gary
corker.
versus Artie, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. Now
Oh, this isn't really a
check.
huge fight. Yeah.
I love this though. Okay,
Gary.
so this is yeah. Go ahead, gotcha.
No, I was going to say the administration at Sirius somehow sends Artie Gary's check, and
I
so
love it.
Artie's mom is handling his finances. Opens the check and hands it to Artie, and he sees Gary's salary, which I believe was about $800,000 a year, from what I've researched. Which was making more. I think Artie was like $650.
Wow.
And so Artie's not liking that. He knows the move to Sirius and the subscriptions have a lot to do with him on that show, and they are not meeting that subscriber bonus if it's not for Artie's presence. I swear by that.
And
Yeah, let me just quote Sin Luhu first before we put up this clip. If Gary thinks for half a second that he'll have any kind of relationship with Howard after his retirement, he's nuts. Yeah, just look what happened with Ronnie. Ronnie wanted to come say goodbye to him before he left for Las Vegas. Howard said no.
That's
Don't want
crazy.
you at my house.
That's crazy.
And then we
hid
called
behind
it,
COVID.
I called it on Stephanie's Instagram, where they went out for a party or Ronnie's birthday or something. Oh, and he didn't even call him for his birthday. He's like, well, you told me you don't like people calling you for your birthday, so I didn't call you. And they went out for a dinner. And I wrote in Stephanie's Instagram, I was like, Howard will absolutely bitch about this in 3, 2, And sure enough, one of the first things he did when he came back on the air that Monday was bitch about the fact that how dare Ronnie go out and have a good time at dinner. Like, how dare you go out to dinner?
Makes him look bad.
All the other
same time.
sycophants just follow in line, like the trained monkeys with the Wicked Witch of the West. and Ronnie no longer has to be in that space. So
But
he
he
doesn't
is.
give a fuck. He kind of is, because he wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning so that he can be on call, but he's still getting paid. So you know what? If that's all you have to do, then it's worth it.
Is
If
it really
you're in your
worth getting up at
70s
3
and
a.m.?
you literally just have to be on call for 3 hours, 3 times a week, it's okay. Right?
It's not even to necessarily be on or do material
just
or
be
be
on
funny.
call.
Just let me pick at your personal life, so I don't have to talk about my own, because I won't, and you're not
Just
going
be
to know
on
what
call.
house.
And now
just be
everything
on
is
call.
about his friends, the reason he has his friends, the weather, the house, when you're getting married. It's the same thing now.
Yep.
It's the same thing, except
it's
now it's
just
in Las
rote.
Vegas.
And
Yeah,
you don't
so-
even know where Howard's broadcasting from.
No,
Exactly.
exactly. So true.
Or
All right.
he's a grandfather.
Accidentally saw my check once. It was accidentally sent to him.
God.
And
You're gonna
I am
talk
telling you
about
that
this?
after that, Artie started to treat me differently.
Oh,
He thinks he
that's
saw
so-
something, and it was really weird.
But talk about fuck ups. I got mailed Gary's check.
And then here's okay. So
listen, man.
Answer me this question.
I'm ashamed. I opened it up thinking it was.
Okay, so answer this question. This is what they told me. They
I
actually.
think you're lying there. I think you knew it was his check.
This is what they told me. Hold on. They claim that they called Artie in advance to tell him that was the case. I think it was Artie's mother, and to please just not open it and send it back. And then they claim he opened it anyway, which I don't know that I believe. I don't want to believe.
Garrett, they're covering their ass, man.
Yeah, I don't want to believe.
They're covering their fucking ass.
You don't think they're that organized to actually call Artie and say, "Don't open up the check"?
They sent the wrong check.
They sent my check to fucking somebody else.
We at your birthday party.
Okay, I'm sorry. So can I just ask a really quick question here? Doesn't everybody in the world, by the time the show is on, have direct deposit?
I know.
Most normal human beings do, yes.
Why
Great
is
point. I didn't even think of that.
I was wondering if
Is
this
it a
is an
stub?
American thing or something. What the fuck?
No, any company I have ever worked at, somebody from HR comes around, with the stupid little envelope that just has your receipt of your check. It's not really your check.
Yeah.
because
Maybe that's what that was.
Is it a paper
why
trail?
would they mail it? Then nobody mails
Write
that
off,
shit.
paper trail. I don't know. Photocopy it, paper trail,
It's very
stub.
curious to me
I don't know.
why
It's a
he
great
would
point,
get that.
Monique. Phenomenal point.
Yeah.
So this is in the 2000s. Yeah, by this
No,
time.
this is serious years. This is
Yeah, so this is
direct
2007.
Everybody
Yeah.
has direct deposit.
7, 8, and
Yeah, I mean, Jesus.
Artie's story changes just in the way when you edit Artie down, his story changes through this, and you realize he's completely. It's just ridiculous. He's a fucking complete liar.
No, Artie, he seems
At
so
John's
fun.
Pizzeria, I was sitting there with High Pitch Mike.
I never
and you
physically had
said,
Gary's
I
check."
have Gary's check you want to see, and I turned away, and I think High Pitch Mike saw
I was
it.
busting her balls. I didn't have.
Right, like now we really believe
Well,
you.
I didn't physically have Gary. Like I brought it to the pizzeria.
No, I just wanted to back up Lisa on that since Artie's being truthful now. I mean, you did. You had the check out and you were showing it around the party.
You
were,
saw
dude.
the check.
I saw the check.
Wow.
I never physically had the check. My mother had it and never ever showed it to me.
Then how'd you know the amount on
Then
it?
how'd you get it in your wallet?
Because
Mom told him.
No, my mother called me up and I went over and looked at it. But
What is it, a
my
museum
mother
artifact?
listen, my mother knew the amount. So my mother was never
Night at the restaurant.
Right.
You said, I have Gary's check. I know how much he makes.
But that
It's kind of
Lexapro kick
upsetting.
in,
I knew
Jason.
how much he
Lisa
made.
has the same story. There's other guys in the back room with the same exact story. I remember seeing something in your hand with a figure written down.
Who else is saying yeah over there?
Benji.
Artie might have joked around and written something down, but that doesn't mean he had the check with
I
him.
did not have the check.
Sounds like he was.
Well, everybody knew about the check.
see.
I talked to Artie about the check.
Do you think this is made up, like Melvin
No.
is saying?
No, I don't think. I think there's some reality. I don't think so.
I think something
think-
happened where maybe a receipt was sent to Artie, but how would they know that mistake? How would they? Okay, see, there's too many really weird things going on here. Number one, why would any check made out to Gary Dell'Abate in an envelope, which I would assume has a little glassine kind of window in
Glassine?
it, so that you can see the
nice.
address
Ooh.
inside,
Yep.
right?
You're
so
right.
wouldn't
You're
it
very
be
right. It's a computer.
addressed-
It's a computer
generated,
system. It's
yes.
automated. You don't like you don't hand fold the envelope and I don't understand. I believe it happened.
It
happened.
could be
It
very. His
surely
mom
happened.
gets the check, right?
Why?
Hands it to Artie. Goes, what is Gary Dell'Abate, Beatty? And he goes, oh, give me that fucking thing.
Why
I wanna
wouldn't the
see this
address
shit.
be on it?
So then Artie rips it open
Well,
and makes
why
it the
wouldn't the
story.
address
Wait,
be
so
on it?
wait, you're right, because Artie is in New Jersey, Gary's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's a big mistake. I mean, yeah, you're right. It's starting to really smell fishy.
It smells fishy.
It smells real fishy.
I smell.
I haven't
both.
seen a more incompetent mailman since Cliff Clavin and Karl Malone.
Karl Malone.
Every single check I have
talk
ever
here. What the
received
fuck is
has
going-
my name and my address on it, and so. In what world would that be sent? And now, conversely, was Gary sent Artie's check, or was somebody else sent?
Apparently
No,
not.
definitely
Apparently not.
Right.
They
So
would've-
why was Gary's check even being sent out? It does smell a little fishy, Melvin. I'm gonna go with you on this. I mean,
Yeah, you
I'm
smelled
not.
that
I
one
believe
out.
it happened because they can't trust to bring in High Pitch Mike commented on it. Lisa G. They couldn't trust these many people to come in and try.
Yeah,
it.
it's quite a
Yeah.
it's quite a gaggle of conspirators.
I don't know. It just doesn't make sense for it to be mailed out to him. I'm sorry. I'm just calling it out. Okay, sorry.
No, Gina, Gary is paid
I
by
don't deny I told people about it because I thought it was funny. It wasn't that funny to me. It had happened. It had happened 10 minutes before I got to the party, and I had a couple of drinks. And I was like, a funny thing happened.
So Artie is now saying he is not angry with you about your check.
All right, that's good to hear. I really am not.
But is he angry about anything else?
And if you call my mother really wouldn't lie. She'll tell you she never physically sent me that check. She mailed it back.
Do you have any issues with me at all?
No.
Number 2. Artie lives by himself. His mother lives by herself. Why is Artie's mother getting Gary's check?
She was probably over there. She has keys to his place.
Or
I mean,
my mother got the check. I called her, and
well,
she
at the
called
start,
wait. You got to remember, this is Artie we're talking about. Though, I mean, it is believable that he would have his mother dealing with his money.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I mean, that's real. That is believable.
Making him food. Yeah, she's always
at the start. He said he went over there, and now he's saying it was a phone call.
The story keeps on changing.
It's very strange. He's high, of course, so you know.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, that's the other part of this. That's
well, Fudgesicle is a good point here.
People get in your head here. You
go.
No, I'm sorry. Fudgesicle is a good point. She's like, well, so what's the punchline on this one? Why do a bit about Artie getting Gary's check? What's the end game? What are you going for? Is it that aren't we going for that Artie's jealous of what Gary makes technically?
Yes.
And is going to be an embitterment about it? Isn't
That's
that
what
really
Gary's
bottom line?
Gary's
what
trying
Howard
to get
wants.
to that.
None
Gary's
of this
saying,
makes sense to me at all. Sorry.
Gary's saying that Artie treated him differently after he found out how much Gary earns. So Artie was, unhappy about that. So Gary must have been earning over $1 million then a year.
And Gary was making like 800,000, and Artie was making 600. And he's on Air Talent, and Gary is a fucking loser in an Adidas tracksuit.
Cindy Lou,
a Buckwall client.
That's right. Cindy Lou Who writes something. I read that Artie had a falling out with Norm because Artie would blab about every celebrity encountered. I guess he related. Well, I thought the falling out was that he actually Artie's bookie owed Norm a lot of money, and he skipped town. And there's a great interview with Neil Brennan, a comedian, does with Dan Filato, who I think Chloe's Delight or Two Master or somebody posted it. And Dan Filato, Artie's producer for the DirecTV show, goes into a lot of dirt about him, how he owes Artie owes him money for his mortgage and stuff. Yeah, right. It's crazy shit. Really crazy shit.
Don't forget, Norm was a profligate gambler as well.
Yep.
Yes, he was.
You know, that's why they were such good friends. I mean, they were both like just ridiculous gamblers. So, you know, I don't. There's some fishiness to the story. That's all I'm saying. You know, it doesn't make sense. Either way, it should be direct deposited, so nothing should be going to his mother. Like, it's just weird to me.
Yeah. No, you're right,
story
Monique.
is
great. The only thing could be an advice. That would be the only thing it could be, but that doesn't make any sense. No, that doesn't make any sense. No.
You got it in your head that I had a problem with you, and I think you've been like snippy with me lately because of it. I did not have that check at that party. And I would have given it to you if I did. What I will admit to, which I should have showed more willpower, was my mother gets my checks. And she called me up and she said, listen, Art, I feel bad. I was sent Gary's check instead of yours by mistake, and I just ripped it open a lot, and I looked at the amount, and it was a different amount than usual.
Okay, ripped it open would assume that it said Gary's name on it. I mean, does any of this make sense to you?
No.
Because now she's just ripping it open, not thinking.
He's saying she didn't look.
Right. So what was there on the front? I mean, it might have
been upside down in a bunch of mail. This is what we'll never know.
Never know the truth of this.
Tiger Lily, it's the Kevin Brennan podcast with Dan Filato, Artie's ex-producer.
It's on our forum.
It's on the forum.
Somebody has it.
Okay.
Gary's name.
Right.
I said, Ma, it's me and you.
Sorry,
I said, what is Gary
like?
She's like, she called me up and she said, listen, Art, I feel bad. I was sent Gary's check instead of yours by mistake, and I just ripped it open a lot, and I looked at the amount, and it was a different amount than usual. She saw Gary's name.
Right.
I said, Ma, it's me and you. I said, what does Gary make? She's like, so I had to for a half an hour, I had to grill her.
Bullshit.
And finally, she told me. And
your mother wipes your ass. There's no way she's not telling you.
I'd want to know.
And it was funny. It was on my mind. I had a couple of
Hysterical.
drinks. I shouldn't have told anybody. That was.
Yeah, that's a rookie fucking move, by the way, on Artie's part.
Wow.
Seriously.
Wow.
That is a rookie move. I know somebody at another company who happened to see on their boss's desk like an Excel sheet with what everybody
Bad. I
made.
felt bad.
Yep.
And they made a copy of it and showed it to like their friends, and the whole fucking company was pissed, and he got fired like immediately. But meanwhile, you know, he was still getting phone calls after he got fired. It's
Someone
like,
might
tell
get
me
fired.
what Joe makes. You know, it's like that kind of shit. And he knew what everybody in the company made, and they couldn't believe like what some of the, you know, office managers were making and shit like that. And it's like, okay, that chick literally does nothing all fucking day except bullshit on the phone and go outside
So
and
I never
smoke all
physically-
day. And she makes like triple the amount of money that I do. I mean, crazy shit like that. It should never be revealed, and it should never have come out of Artie's mouth.
There's a new YouTube video I put up 2 weeks ago of when they were going on their arrival at Sirius. I did a super fan roundtable, and thank you to Steve S for getting me this. As they all speculate, this is Ralph, this is John Hine, this is about the Stern Show's salaries, and it was as candid and as honest. And they have you can compare it to what we said. So they have Fred at like $3 million and Robin at $10 million and stuff, and it's a really, really candid look at what they all think they made, and they weren't. And you know, Ralph knows.
Yeah.
So he was a loose cannon back
I don't know about that though either, because like I never in my company told other people what I made, unless they were like my equals, like we did the exact same job. And, you know, finally, when you get to know them really, really well, it actually would be more about bonuses than it would be about salary. And then all of a sudden, maybe like 3-4 years down the line, you'd be like, all right.
But these guys are
How
all
much did
about
you make?
comparing cock sizes, and
It's always a penis
this
contest.
is
I
a state's
get
always
that.
weight and penis size and who makes what, and Howard's obsession with everybody's money except his own. You know, eventually shit's gonna come out.
Artie is absolutely a bad liar. I don't believe anything about that story.
It's not just vintage Horatius 6763.
I don't
that
think he's
happened in my
truthful.
company as well.
He's not
But
being
it was
truthful.
raises everyone got. Yeah, it's like people
I've
love
been
to
trying
share
to
that
get a drop
information.
of that, Dennis.
What?
He's not being truthful.
I've been trying to get a drop of that.
That's
It's really hard to.
Ed Torian.
It's really hard to get a drop of him saying it without everybody going, "Whoa!" At the moment, he's trying to say it.
Amorosa, Anika.
All right,
It was
so
being deceptive.
are we almost on our last clip?
Being deceptive.
We
This
are, and I just want to say this before we end. John curated this whole thing, so
I
these
did.
were John's choices. So congratulations to John. We want to thank him. Can we get
this-
some full props to John. in the chat?
WIBC clap. There we go.
Good work, Johnny boy. And look, you're doing another show. You got another podcast. You put together Gary in like a week.
No,
or so, a
yeah, it was
couple
5
of-
days.
A
It was a
while.
long 5
It
days.
was a lot of work, and
There's a
John-
lot
John
more.
loves
We got a part 3 out easily out of this.
Yeah.
There's so much
Oh,
more.
we are, yeah.
Yeah, we
We're
knew
good
this
to
would
go.
be like a 3-hour
Yeah.
show.
You did-
even
you
with
have to
the
know that
amount of clips
going
we
out.
had. All right, so
Or what's the
what we
last
have
one?
now is Richard Simmons crying.
Okay. Yeah, this
Okay.
is so. I want you guys to verify. So Richard Simmons had not been on the show for a bunch of years. Gary and Richard Simmons had forged this weird relationship when Richard would do the show in the 90s. And I don't know if it was over Gary's gay, but Richard Simmons is not actually out of the closet here. And all they do is gay shame him on this show. And he comes on with the pretense that I'm not going to be gay shamed. I'm coming on to promote I want to help chicks lose weight, and I'm going to come on. And he comes in, and all they do is gay shame him, and he runs out. And Gary is his contact. Gary's the reason he was smoothed over to get back on the show, and they chase him out of the studio. This is a rare. You see the Veal get up, and Howard chases him into the elevator. It's a phenomenal clip, and there's so many drops from this.
Yes.
Gary.
I had to turn them down in the video because it's just deafening him screaming Gary. It's like fuck. But it's so hard to know if this is a bit or not. If you can't see tears in Richard's
I'm sorry.
eyes,
Everything
so
with Richard
you never
Simmons
know.
is a bit. Number one. Number two.
sure
I think
this
that
is a
Richard
bit?
Simmons is always on. Okay, he's kind of like the athletic guru Liberace. You knew he was gay, but you just never had to say it because it was so
Right.
obviously true.
Yeah.
He just
But
never
when
found
they-
the right
when
girl.
Howard implies it, and then he's fake crying. It's very strange. It's hard to tell if he has to run away because he wants he's like, you know, like he wants people to, he's like Peter Allen or something. He wants people to wonder if he's gay or not. But if someone confronts him with it, he freaks out. It doesn't make sense.
I never believed Richard ever.
It's different.
I always thought that he was on,
though.
and that this was a persona.
He's
you know?
such an enigma, and his life is an enigma now. Like he removed himself from the spotlight over the last 4 years. There's a whole podcast on that.
I love that
bizarre.
podcast. Yeah. But they never followed up with it either. Like
they have a setup caller, and she's a 22-year-old hot chick who wants to date Richard Simmons, and she's coming on to him, and they want to see how he'll react to it. I don't know who does the call. I wish we could figure it out, but
they really
I don't know
push
the voice.
it too. It's really pretty harsh for someone like Richard to have to listen to it. It's just fucking funny.
Bond only came out with the Peter Allen reference because Peter Allen is Australian. You know that.
Exactly.
You got me there.
This is Jenny.
Jenny, good morning to you.
Good morning. I just wanted to know if perhaps you would want to go on a date with me.
Well, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old. Very.
Would you date a 22-year-old?
Very mature 22.
Are you hot?
I'm super hot.
Why not make love to? When is the last time you made love to a woman? I'm talking about had good sex.
Gary! Gary!
Why won't you entertain this? You're so
because I am focused on. I am focused on. Gary!
Get over here and talk about your ass.
I'm not attractive, you know. I'm just sort of
You're handsome.
middle. I'm sort of in the middle somewhere.
You're gorgeous, Richard.
Oh
You're
yeah.
so
I'm never.
Your little shorts that you wear, and those thighs. I can't control myself.
Howard.
Wow. Cut her out? You want me to hang up on her?
Thanks for calling.
Why do you want to hang up on her?
Well, because I wanted to talk to you about something really important.
All right, I gotta hang up.
He has no
Jenny,
interest in dating this
He
woman.
doesn't want to date you for some reason.
No,
That's a different
I'm
one.
sure you're a beautiful woman, Jennifer.
Or pussy, Richard. Which one do you like more?
What?
Who is this person?
All right,
Oh, my
goodbye.
God.
When is the last time you came?
Gary. Gary, I want to leave now.
No, Richard.
No, I do because
Don't
you're not.
say that.
Well, because I'm trying to make a
go ahead.
point,
Come
and
on,
you won't let me
Richard.
talk and
You
do
said
anything.
the last time you came.
picked on me. You picked on my shorts. You picked on my uniform. You picked on my past. I'm
not picking.
Howard, you should at least plug what he's plugging.
I'm going to.
Gary, why
What's
don't
the
you,
rush?
Gary, get in here? What's wrong? You're supposed to be here with me.
Stop pretending. Richard's not the most macho guy on the planet. He's very. You're sometimes very womanly and sometimes manly.
Womanly?
Yeah, he relates.
Womanly.
He knows he's walking into that show.
Yeah, I know.
He knows what he's wearing is going to be scoffed and mocked. Like he knows the den of vipers he's walking into.
The only pushback I'd give you on that is that Gary probably smoothed him over to get him in there and said, "Oh, Richard, we're just going to ask you about it. Don't worry about it. We'll just come in. We're not going to do anything."
Is it any different any time before this or after this ever? No.
No, but
always
he's
the same.
naive enough. He's naive enough to fall for it.
Yeah, but again, you know what? I'm positive, just like pretty much everybody else who always comes on the show, you know, if you see a Richard Simmons going down the street, 9 out of 10 times somebody will say, "Oh my God, heard on Howard loved you," shit like that. And so he knows he gains popularity from this. I mean, all those sweating to the oldies and all that shit that he used to do was not nearly as much popularity as he got in the peak of Howard, which is when this is.
Those who remember the early days of Sirius, those are some of the worst guests in the history of this show. They could not book a decent name this is like a really big guest for those early Sirius years. I mean, I saw guest lists that were like Bob Levy, Greg Fitzsimmons, the Bloodhound Gang, Brooke Holden.
Hey, the Bloodhound Gang. Come on.
I mean, those were their guests, and so this is like a big get at that point.
You think?
Yeah, for that show at that time, I'm telling you, Monique, it was
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons was popular in the '80s. He was sweating to the oldies.
It was a combination, right? I'm not saying that he was his name, but they wanted to gay shame him in addition to him being unnamed.
Richard Simmons is like George Takei before George Takei. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he would come in, they would mock, they would do the gay thing, they would, that's
bad.
who he was for the show. Really? All right, let's play some more. I want to hear it.
To both sexes. That's why people like him. Is that a bad thing?
Howard. I just wanted to say no, it's okay.
Wait,
right.
Let me apologize to Al Sharpton.
No, he's not going to sue you, Howard.
Richard,
he's not going to sue you.
Appeal to both sexes.
No, if you want me to call and help you, you let me know.
Did I say something wrong?
Yes, you said he was womanly.
Richard. Yes.
No, he might have, some
female tendency.
We all do.
What?
There he is. Don't leave like that.
There he is.
It's my favorite part.
Where do you mean like that? I'm okay.
Is that the freight elevator?
The guy coming back in the elevator was having a great time.
Really? Are you for real? Richard.
Oh, he's
Please.
just.
Oh, Richard, come on. Come back in. I want to apologize. For real. Richard, please. No, don't go. I want to go.
Oh, come on, Rich. Come on. We're
Tell
counting.
him to come out of the elevator.
Look at Howard's shirt button down.
Come on.
Who's that matinee idol?
We have to talk about this.
Is that Julio Iglesias?
I'm sorry.
70s?
I feel awful. It's all right.
You called him a
I'll
chick.
leave you alone.
Yeah, I mean, how did
That's an interesting thing, though, that the Howard back then
Getting out of the chair,
ran
I know.
out
Yeah.
and
He would
never
touching
do
him
that.
like that. He's
would
actually
never do
touching him on the
I
shoulder.
mean, but he
can't
knows
do
Richard
that
old time.
anymore.
Like Richard's like an old school guest.
Well, Richard named his
Oh,
third
the
daughter.
kid, yeah.
Yeah. He was friend of the
was
court
Ashley.
before
Ashley
friend of
Jade.
the court existed. you
Ashley
know?
Jade.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
It's also the first and last time Howard's ever used a civilian elevator.
He didn't use
Yeah.
the elevator. It's Richard using the elevator.
Well, I'm saying it's the only time he's ever been in a civilian elevator.
He doesn't want
that's because
Richard
the camera's
in
on.
his,
The
his
freight elevators on the
elevator.
other side.
That's
Do
because the
you
camera's
remember? You
on.
guys remember the story of Richard going to Howard's house in the '90s and throwing
Yes.
lawn furniture in the pool?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess he did he what did he do? He lifted up Allison? Didn't he bear hug somebody and throw
And
him in
he
the
came
pool?
in with flowers and ran around the pool, throwing
Yeah,
them all
yeah.
around the house
Yes.
and in the pool. And Howard said, "I don't know if I want to be friends with him anymore."
Nick Hansen, nice deafening reference. Wigabod Crane, all hunched over, walking like a stork.
Yeah,
Perfectly
totally.
said.
what?
Tim saved you.
Oh, Sim is
sorry,
right
Richard.
down with him.
I hope you're all right.
Tim knows how to handle this.
I want to see.
Yikes.
Tim's chubby.
Has he ever
Sabian.
left the studio
Tim's chubby.
without crying?
like
I
that,
don't
yeah.
think so.
Good try,
Yeah, he's
Howard.
really crying. Yes.
I mean,
How about the guy in the elevator?
I
Oh,
love that.
Gunga Din is a great post. See that last one?
Yeah.
Howard has no idea how to act around people. He has no idea how to comfort. It's so true. He looks
He's
like
socially
he's never.
awkward. He's horrible.
Yep.
But he tried. I love Artie at the end of all of this.
Go on his way.
During this period, Artie was,
Stoned.
chaos could be happening, and Artie would just lean back. And when Howard walked in, then he said, "Nice try, Howard. Nice try." He couldn't give a fuck if the roof
Yep.
was caving in. Artie was high and wasted, and he'd just be like,
The glasses on.
"Whatever,
Good Lord.
whatever."
I don't blame him.
He's getting paid his $500,000 or whatever.
I mean, it was so obvious with the fucking sunglasses on. He had
Yeah.
never worn them before, and like,
Oh, I love it. And that's
baby gorilla.
I'm asking the question. All right, so there you go. Is that the
You
end
ask
of
you what
this?
question?
yeah.
Tis. Okay, great.
Tis.
Tis the
Tis
end of
now.
the clips. There we
Oh
go.
my God.
This of part two.
Part two, yes.
Part two.
And
Cheers.
part
3 more hours
is-
left.
Yeah.
Minimum 3 hours left.
Hey, can I give a shout out to
Sure.
Kirk Minihan from the Minihan show? Our friend Matt sits in with us once in a while.
Yeah.
He posted on Twitter today and a very brave admission to suicidal tendencies and depression, and I think we should all keep him in. He listens to this show. Monique I think you've been on with him, right, a few times?
I've PM'd with him.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've talked to him off air.
He's part of the Barstool contingent, and he's a real it's
He's a
always
real
like
guy.
if Whitey Bulger had a sports radio show.
Yes.
He would be
Oh,
that.
that's great.
And he's
That's a great
struggling
reference.
with depression, and nobody knows that better than I do. So get well, Kirk. Hope you listen to this and give you a laugh and a shout out. And he went in on Howard very early on with that Callahan. They had a show in Boston, and they called Howard out on terrestrial a long time ago.
See what Gunga Din wrote? Arm, that is the third time he's gone in for help. He tried suicide
Really?
a few years back. Yeah.
Oh, so it's an ongoing. Oh, Jesus, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, depression is not one of those things that just kind of, leaves and goes away.
And COVID only amplifies it because you're wondering
Ugh.
what the future is and what's
Stuck
now.
indoors.
Yep.
It sucks. Yeah. All right, what the hell does Christine Brown have to say now? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Harassing impossible to somebody. Yes,
Plus,
that's
plus.
exactly what they were doing, and they knew that they were doing that. And I promise you that if Liberace was alive during the Howard time period and lived close by or was able to come into the studio, he would have done the exact same thing to him.
Ooh, big call. But I mean, Monique has harassed people.
So real talk here. What the fuck is going on with your nose? Like, I really need to know.
Who's that? That's Artie. Directed.
Did I say that to him?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Wow, you said that to him.
That's a hard hitting.
He says the best response. I wish I had a clip, but he goes, "What do you think? It's too much yoga? I'm a drug addict."
It's either that or a spin class reference.
Hey, the hard-hitting questions, goddammit. All right, so I do want to give you guys a little heads up on what we have lined up for Gary Part 3, which will probably be in a couple of weeks. Because
Louis the board op.
No, keep them in suspense, Mom.
Oh, well, everyone knows that. Louis
the board op, and then we go into
Don't
Gary
tell them
pitching.
everything.
I mean, there's just a couple of Listen, it's nothing anybody doesn't know. But I did want to highlight out some other stuff, and I don't think that we've really brought it up. And, it could even be a Gary Part 4. Is the elitist Gary. Like the
yes,
new,
Gary, yes.
The new money Gary. The Gary that goes to the wine thing.
Coachella.
That's all in the next one. We've got the
Springsteen
the
concert.
hockey charity, the hockey and all that. That's him being a real celeb. He's out there fucking
learning annex.
And there's a great fight. Is it between him and Jason or him and Sal? That Sal's really jealous that he gets to go to all these things. And he doesn't get to go to anything, and it's like, oh, so you're like Mr. Big Shot now. You get to go to
wasn't
Napa Valley.
Wasn't it like Coachella or something that he
it was
was?
Napa Valley. He went to a wine festival.
Yep, the wine fest. Yeah.
And then it's
Right.
just using phrases like going dark.
Oh my God! I want to punch him every time.
Thinking he's on TV, thinking he's a TV producer. We're gonna be dark for about 3 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
He only knows these things because he's been on the same show for 35 fucking years. I mean,
I know.
I just laughed to myself. I hope he has enough money to retire because it's just laughable to me that anybody would ever hire a Gary. Everybody knows he's useless at this point. So he sold his house, right? And now where is he?
We don't know.
There's a new clip I found of him. At the last second I sent you that parking lot attendant clip. So in the clip, Gary's thought of as a really shitty tipper by the parking garage attendants, and the guy bases it on that Gary's driving a brand new in 07. Dennis, I don't know if you could price this for me because I looked it up. I think it's a $50,000 BMW 07.
He had a 3 Series.
Okay.
He had it was an 07. He had a 335. Yeah, it was probably about $50,000.
Thank you, Christopher Titus. With the
you know what? It may have even been. He may have even had his, lease payments paid for by Sirius. Might have been part of the deal.
Yeah.
So,
you know what?
Well, I think it's a Wayne Siegel special too, right?
You know what? I'm going to throw it in as a bonus clip. Here is
a bonus clip.
Gary's a bad tipper.
How much does it cost you to park a month?
It might be $350, $375. I thought fairly reasonably at Christmas.
Yeah.
I tipped every guy.
What do you do on a daily basis?
I give a guy $1.
Right, okay.
So listen to this.
What?
So Sal went downstairs and interviewed Gary's guy, and here's what he had to say.
I'm at the parking garage, and apparently the parking attendants say that Gary Dell'Abate is what?
Oh, man, so cheap. He's so cheap. Sometimes he pretend like he's so busy on the phone. He knows.
Oh, it's so funny.
He got a tip to the parking attendants.
Oh. What does he usually end up tipping you?
Maybe $1 at the most.
$1?
Yeah.
And he drives a very nice car, right?
Oh, brand new 2007 BMW.
Why do you think he's so cheap?
I have no idea. It is a shitty tipper. We've been giving great service.
Wow.
It just seems to me if you're paying $350 a month, if you give a guy $1 a day, he's getting $30 a month.
Howard's projecting.
You know what I love about that whole clip, though, too, is the fact that, there's so many of the exact same kind of guys that work in every single parking garage that you would never know which one actually said that.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. That's so
Wow.
funny.
Is that
Gary,
controversial?
he drive a new car. He had a 2007 BMW. It's just like,
who would even okay, so he pays
Parking be very good to me.
$300, $350. There's a big difference between $300 and $350. Plus,
it is a big difference.
If he wasn't a New York resident, you have to pay 18% sales tax on top of that. So he's probably topping out at around $400 a month.
He
And that's
goes
back
into
then.
he goes into the figures right now. Check this. Check this out.
$280 a year if you give a guy $1 a day.
Right.
And then it's another big tip at Christmas and another $375 a month. There's one day where I was on the phone and I may not have had a single on me. What I usually do is I was like, I'll get you tomorrow, and then I'll give them like $2 the next day. They seem like nice enough gentlemen, but I mean, I don't have time to, converse with them and everything.
I tell you just make sure you tip well.
Where'd you tip him at Christmas?
Thanks, Robin.
I can't remember. It was around 400 in total, but there's like 10 guys. The head guy might get 100. The guys you see every day get 50. And the guys I don't know get 25 each.
And you know how many people they see? I mean, that's one guy. I mean,
They must be raking it in.
I never tipped more than like $1, $2 max. Honestly, unless the guy was doing something like heroic for me, which in their world is getting your car within like an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they think they're doing you a big fucking favor because it's an emergency.
We don't do that at all here. We don't tip here. I don't know how you guys live over there doing that. If someone gets your luggage and takes it in the elevator of the hotel and up to your room, you have to give them money, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never seen that. I would never do that. It's all paid by the company. Pays them
here's
more.
the worst thing. The worst thing is when you used to get room service. And there's like already a like 18 or 20% gratuity on there, but then they have a tip line. It took me a long time to realize that I was like double fucking tipping.
Oh, I always draw a line to that bitch. No,
for a ridiculous amount of money. So crazy.
Well, there was that scene in was it Pulp Fiction where Sam Jackson and Travolta are talking about the tipping in America. Why do you tip the bartender, but you don't tip McDonald's? Like we have these weird things we decide are tippable and not tippable. It's a strange.
What is that?
I don't know. You're right.
I get offended when I see a tip jar at the front of a counter of a place that normally I wouldn't tip. I don't tip at Starbucks. I mean, they're just doing their job.
Fuck them.
I don't. Well, no, fuck them.
But then the Starbucks people could say, "Then why do you tip a bartender?" But I'm taking just as long to make your mochaccino.
I'm a barista.
I'm a barista.
It's weird.
I'm an Italian bartender.
All right.
They think they're rocket scientists.
Everybody in the world doesn't tip like we do.
No.
But we don't pay our people the same way. So they're working on minimum wage. Some places split the tips with everybody that's in the place, including like the busboys and stuff like that. And some places, the manager even gets a piece of the pie on tipping, which is kind of wrong, in my opinion.
Now we have celebrities asking for tips asking for tips on Patreon and
Is he really a celebrity?
PayPal and who?
Oh, I thought you were talking about John.
No. I was talking about
real celebrity.
Adam Carolla.
Adam Carolla.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap us up. Bon Jovial made a outro for us for tonight's show.
Oh, it took 5 seconds. It's
took all
nothing
5
interesting.
seconds. Yeah,
it's just the usual shit. It's just cute.
It's just the usual shit. So just as a preview, we are going to work on an Eric the Midget show, I promise. Yes. Xavier and I are not doing another Things That Go Gunk in the night until after Thanksgiving sometime, and we'll do like a couple of Christmas specials with like The Shining and some like creepy winter type stuff. And then we'll get to Gary part 3, I guess, at some time in the very near future as well. And if anything amazing or exciting goes on the show, which I doubt highly, one or two of us will pop on air and we'll talk about it in real time.
We've got Beefus Promotes 2 coming soon.
Yes.
I don't want to make a big deal out of it. The intro I've made.
There's more now.
I think it's my Bohemian Rhapsody.
Really?
It's going to be my
God.
finest
It's
moment
your Rosebud.
ever. The intro for it is. I say that every time.
It's a Citizen Kane, exactly.
I'm so proud of it. And
I want to thank. I want to thank the guy on my YouTube channel who was candid enough to tell a story about his landscaping friend at 17 Squabble Lane.
Oh, tell it again,
Where
John.
is this? Where is this? Where is this? Where
Here
is
we
this?
go.
This is about. I'm trying to remember what the video comes from. It comes from Howard in the Hallways. So he listened to the Howard in the Hallway video, And so Howard of clearing the commoners, and so he immediately equates it to a story of a friend of his. And so this is fairly recent. This is Jake Stum on my YouTube channel, in a video called Howard Mandates the Hallways Must Be Cleared. He writes, so I had a friend who worked as a landscaper in the Hamptons for the summer. His boss told him they were going to be working at Howard's Hamptons mansion, but he warned them that both Beth and Howard absolutely hate it if you make eye contact with them. Well, sure enough.
First off, I hate that. I hate that whole eye contact thing. I hate it with a passion.
It's the very worst of the worst.
The very
I agree.
worst of the worst.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I wish I could get a cat from it.
So then he writes, so sure enough, cut to a few days later, he's on his ride-on lawnmower coming down the row, and he instinctively just waves at Beth as she's getting out of her car in the driveway. She flips out, and he gets sent home and told by his boss he no longer works there.
Oh my God, Howard, can you believe that guy just
I know. I could just see it. That's the real Beth, people. Oh, she's so sweet and don't. That's the real person.
I have a question. Was he a minority of any type? You know,
of course,
Beth
of
is
course.
Yeah, Beth. Yeah, of course. It's what attacks Beth all the time.
There's a lot of white landscapers and gardeners out in the Hamptons. I mean, they get paid a premium.
I was just pulling on the Beth always had. It was always some young black kid always attacking her.
How dare you!
And then I think it was Uncle Larry. Uncle Larry.
How dare you!
Christina Brown activist says hatred of the proletariat is typical
God.
for the petite bourgeois.
What is
varlets.
this vocabulary?
I'm
My
loving
hatred of the
every
proletariat is
moment
typical
of this.
for petite bourgeois harlots.
Familiar with
sarcasm.
Every moment of this. I really am just delicious.
So Uncle Larry followed it up with something he clipped off her Insta twat and of her being mean to somebody posted like, Beth, why you're horrible to me in public, and so it's just constant stories of this.
No, it is not
And
a
she
nice.
had
It is not nice.
How dare you!
She doesn't have to be.
No, she doesn't. You're right.
She's a cunt. I mean, that's what it is. You can see that in the eyes.
I think she's just entitled like the rest of them.
If you can
bring shame back.
They get to a certain level of superiority and
actually without earning it. That's the worst part. It never earned it.
Hey,
I followed up on. I wrote.
Hey,
if
you had to have sex with that thing, I think you're earning your keep.
No, that didn't earn it.
I followed up on. I wrote, if only you were a little bit more like Amanda Peet.
Insta twat, by the way. All right, guys, so we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much, all of you guys who did super chats. I love you for it. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And I'm gonna give you our little outro right now for the show. But thank you for coming to hang out with us. And we love having you here. The chat was phenomenal tonight.
Absolutely.
And I'm really glad, Bon Jovial, that you were actually able to run the clips, because then we were able to read all of these, the chat, which is always the best part of the show.
Yes.
When we do a YouTube Live. So thank you so much for doing that for us tonight. Thank you for actually manipulating those clips so they were perfection for us.
Great job. And the drops are phenomenal. We got to even
love it. Send me more, John.
I will.
Big
Loving
props
the
to everyone. While we're all thanking each other, let's thank John again for curating the clips for this.
Curating.
Yeah, I love it.
Curate. Ringrazia, John.
I'm scrolling. I'm moving. I got to get through this.
You're really good at that. I tell you, you're really good at
I am begging
that.
you, fucking move on.
Oh God.
That's when John we get into the weeds.
Look, this is what I mean. You're right, John. You're right, though. But I mean, this is the first time I've ever done it, and
It's phenomenal.
It hasn't
Really?
been brilliant. But it shows you how useless Fred is.
I was just gonna say, give Bond Fred salary.
The timing's hard. Fred times them well, but apart from that, anyone can fucking do this.
If he's
Everybody
paying
listening.
attention, he times them well. If he's
I
not
could
paying
show
attention,
someone
He's not even there.
I could show anyone listening how to use this in 5 seconds, and you'd be pressing buttons and making it. Fred's hopeless, and he's probably getting paid $500,000 or whatever.
No,
more.
$500,000. No.
No more.
$5 million.
There you go.
He's a Buckwall
We're
client.
going higher now, are we?
He's a Buckwall client.
I thought all the prices. I thought Gary was on less than $1 million now. And Fred
No,
$500,000.
I don't think it's $5 million anymore. I think he's been downgraded as well.
Hopefully. I hope
Bon Jovial's better than Fred Norris. Fred Norris gets all those clips from somebody else. Bon Jovial's doing all the shit himself.
We're just doing it.
They would have had an intern make them all for him back in the day.
That's exactly
Scott
right.
the engineer
Scott
would have
would
been
have done
cutting them all that shit up. I mean,
That's exactly right. All right, so good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Here's our silly little outro, and we will. Thanks for hanging with us tonight. Please join us for any discussion at radiogunk.com in the forums section. Follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Radio Gunk. And don't forget to like this and subscribe to us and hit that little bell so that you know when we're going to have a new show. Thanks.